Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Rider Club Radio, the internet's #1 podcast.
That's right.
According to who?
According to iTunes.com.
Damn, I want you to know, Jeff, that if I'm unlazy enough in editing, I'm going to try and put some cricket sound effects right after you say that. If not, I'll just leave this in, and it'll have the same effect.
Excellent.
Are you sure that's not iTunes.co?
It's iTunes.xxx.
No, that's your other podcast.
iTunes.ca.
So this is a podcast all about the Japanese children's toy commercial Kamen Rider, where we go through a show episode by episode usually. This is a little different this time. I'm your host, Jeff.
And I'm Liam.
Max here.
And I'm Tomas.
This time around, we're going to be doing our normal shtick and talk about the last 3 episodes of Kamen Rider Build. And then we're going to launch into a full-scale spoilercast. We're going deep into this shit.
We know how much you guys love Spoilercasts, so we figured since Build was ending, we'll just do the episode a little early this month, and just do a thing all about all of Build, since it's, it's over. And it would be kind of weird. I think, Tomas, this was your idea to, we'll do, the end of Build and the beginning of G.O. in the same episode, so...
G.O.
Yeah.
G.O. Fuck all that.
I thought it would be a better idea to just sort of cover all of Build before G.O. starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be really weird to have a single episode of Kamen Rider Geo at the end of our podcast, and then a different show started.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that. We're a little bit earlier than usual. Not that much earlier, though, so don't get upset.
I don't think
Nobody cry.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be suing us over that.
I don't know, Jeff. I already cried twice today.
Well, it's a little less than usual. This time around, we're going to start out by talking about Kamen Rider Build episodes 47, 48, and 49. We did not get 50 or 51 episodes this time around. Probably for the best.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see any
I
more.
wouldn't have really expected to have that perspective when Build started, but here we are.
Yeah, things have changed, and we'll get to that. Let's start out, Liam, why don't you tell us what happened on episode 47 of Kamen Rider Build?
Sure thing. It was 3 whole weeks ago. So, you might have forgotten all this because, the dizzying ending, but back in episode 47, when the gang is still in the tower, climbing up the tower, they're running up and they encounter, mimics of the Heck Bros on the next floor above where they leave Grease to die.
Guess how this fight goes.
So Rogue steps forward and he's like, "I'll fight him. You guys go ahead. I want to be cool, just like Kazumi. So I'm gonna stick around and fight him, and you guys run off ahead." So the other two are
You remember how my ultimate rivals were the Heck Bros, right?
Yeah.
That was my character arc, so I'll fight the Heck Bros.
These deep, intricate characters, the Heck Bros. So he's like, "I'll stick around. You guys go ahead." And Build says, "Yeah, fuck you. You can just die here, just like Grease." So they run off ahead and go to the tower.
Yeah, we don't care.
That's verbatim, by the way.
They say it in English. Meanwhile, Mitan and Sawa, they arrive and they have the cube. And Sawa decides to run the box upstairs, and Mitan decides to stay and watch Grease fight because she's in love with him.
Interestingly enough, these heroes don't have to fight anybody for some reason.
Yeah,
because
they just get to run up the tower.
They women.
They encounter no resistance. So Sawa's running the box up. Mad Rogue appears when Rogue is fighting the Heck Bros, and he's like, "Haha, Rogue, I see you're getting your ass kicked." And then he joins him and fights the Heck
forgot
Bros.
this happened.
And I in my notes I said it's because he's not a fucking idiot who wants the world to be destroyed. So he's like, "Oh, I want to get revenge for my real daddy,
For his
Daddy Namba."
Namba,
And then he does not
Mr. Namba.
do that.
For-
He does not succeed.
he
in
does
doing
not
that.
succeed.
and then he pulls out the cane that he broke and he put it together with duct tape. I actually
I
love
didn't
it.
actually mean it. Yeah, you thought I need it in half, but it was a fake. He comes and he's like, I'll help. And Sawa comes and she's like, "I came because Utsumi called me with someone's phone and said to bring these secret bottles." I think it's Shark and Bike for some reason that are like, these are the bottles that can perfectly counteract engine and rogue.
I think they're from HBV or something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
This crap.
Human battle virus.
That's it.
Yes.
So they're like the opposite of remote controls and engines are sharks and bikes. So this is what we're going to use to counter them. So they win, and Evolt appears and he kicks Rogue's ass. And fucking Utsumi has like a Super Saiyan form. He's been tuning up the belt or something in his spare time, and he goes super strong and he almost wins, and he just gets his shit rocked. And
he does not almost win.
He gets he
gets absolutely fucking ruined.
He gets a couple good shots in. He makes him stumble a little.
I didn't know you were really Utsumi.
Oh.
I'm truly Utsumi, yes. I am him. And he gets his arm knocked off, and he's a fucking cyborg. Like, all those jokes were real.
Oh, yeah.
He's an actual cyborg. Gentoku tries to fight Evolt, but Utsumi jumps in and takes the killing blow to protect him. He gets stabbed right in the chest.
And he's just a stupid robot, so who cares, right?
He's like, fuck it, I'm not a real person. So...
I got shot in the shoulder, so I had to have my entire body surgically remade into cybernetic parts.
Yeah. I can see the arm, maybe. Like, you'd lose the arm if they hit you at a critical point on the shoulder or something, but he's a cyborg, like, head to fucking toe.
They hit him in his shoulder organs,
yeah.
So they had to replace his whole body.
The liver located in the shoulder. So he's back and he's a fucking cyborg, but he gets killed, so who cares? Maybe they'll rebuild him later.
Who cares in general, honestly?
What do you mean maybe they're going to rebuild him later?
Maybe in the new world.
We've seen the show, Liam.
No, I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
You don't want to spoil it for people that probably have seen the episode already.
Yeah, the people who watch us do an episode and then watch the next episode and watch us do that. They pause the episode, our episode, you know.
Oh, you mean no one?
No one, yeah. That person.
If anyone actually does this, please tell us.
Please send us an email and get
that
help.
would actually be very interesting to find out if somebody did that.
It's probably the preferred way of listening to our program.
It's true. It's true. Have it fresh in your mind.
I don't know if that's how they'd advertise Kamen Rider.
You have to listen to Rider Club Radio first.
Yeah.
It's the only way you're allowed to watch Kamen Rider.
You need to get the proper context. Meanwhile, Grease dies downstairs. He fights so hard and so far, and he beats the guys, but the ice bottle, the blizzard bottle, kills him in the process, and he turns into dust, and Mitan cries.
Maybe this is video game player Jeff coming through here. Why did he have to fight them? Couldn't he have just, like, distracted them for a minute and then ran up the stairs?
I had the same conversation with Max, actually.
Hey, look over there.
Why did he have to fight them until he died? Was that necessary?
Why
they were mirages. They weren't real enemies.
He just had to die.
No, my argument was like, why leave anyone behind at all? Why not just keep running? They can just follow you. Who gives a shit? You don't gotta get up to the top and have no one following you. Just leave.
It's not like Game of Death, right? The Bruce Lee movie where you have to defeat somebody on every level of the pagoda.
Abdul-Jabbar.
Because those are real people who could follow you up the stairs. These are mirages that are made out of space magic. Like, you don't need to fight them.
Maybe he just wanted to die.
Yeah,
that's neither here nor there.
He's like, fuck it.
He wanted to die because Mitan didn't love him.
He wanted to look cool for Mitan.
They needed some semblance of character drama before the end of the show.
That's it.
Speaking of character drama, the gang meets at the top of the tower for the most dramatic little sequence in the entire show where all the sound cuts out and everybody cries so hard about Grease. And Evolt is there. And he's like, what's up, guys? Time to fight. And that's the end of the episode.
That shit was kind of hilarious because he shows up and he's like, hey, how's it going?
It's literally silence. And then he walks in the screen and goes, yo.
Yeah, his voice.
And breaks it.
Yeah. Which I like. I like that little...
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, the audio of that.
So, what did everyone think of Kamen Rider Build episode 47?
Yeah.
As usual, Max sums it up in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come out with a spicy opinion here.
Okay, let's hear your hot take.
I was actually a little bit affected by Grease's death, as contrived as it was in a lot of ways.
Well, it was sad, yeah, just visually sad.
They really pull it out. The actors really pull it out.
I
They
didn't give a
do.
fuck.
Was it
I
necessary? Probably not. But
Probably
was
not.
it sad? Sure. Why? I didn't
It was-
cry or anything.
It was a little sad, I guess. I don't know. Like, it was so unbelievably contrived at that point. It was, if you told me that the show was going to continue on, like, in this imaginary scenario I'm creating, the show was going to continue on, and the reason they put that scene in is because Grease's actor wanted too much money, I would believe it. 100%.
We can hire him.
It's so unbelievably contrived. It's like fucking Tasha Yar getting slapped to death by the tar monster.
We can have him up till episode 47, but those last 2 episodes are just, they're not in the budget.
And then
gotta
it gets
go.
replaced by the Space Rangers.
Sure.
Is this a reference that I don't get again?
To Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, Power Rangers in
I
space.
see. Okay.
No.
Yeah, they
the
all, no.
No, the Alien
the
Rangers.
Alien Ranger. There it is.
Mighty Morphin Alien Ranger, the Cocker Ranger, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because the other actors wanted too much money or something.
Just an aside for a second.
Yeah.
Since it's our podcast, who gives a fuck, right?
Sure.
Just an aside. They did this like 25th anniversary thing for Power Rangers, and Jason David Frank is in it,
Of course.
as Tommy, and he's like 80 years old or whatever. And he's still like trying to be like a super badass young hero in it. Like, he's not the mentor character in it.
He wants to be a teenager again.
He's like, they all treat him like he's like a mentor type character, but he doesn't act like one. He acts like a hot-blooded hero or whatever. Like, dude, number one, you're a fucking piece of shit. Number two, push it back a little bit. You don't need to be teenage Tommy anymore.
Well, you know what, Jeff? Jesus didn't tap.
Oh, shit.
He has
Well,
that
I've
tattooed
been
on his
put in
arm,
my
doesn't
place.
he? Yeah.
I've been
Oh
put
my
in my place. Sorry,
don't
go
know.
ahead.
Anyways, Kamen Rider.
Yeah, back
Yeah,
to the
Continue your hot
back to the thing.
Anyway, I agree with both Liam and Jeff for different reasons. I feel like there's plenty of contrivance going on, but I do feel like the actors really did their best with what they were
Oh,
given.
yeah.
Like
They did.
I felt that they did a really nice job. I totally was not on board with anything that was happening on screen because I was just like, none of this is gonna fucking matter anyway.
And it didn't.
And it didn't. And I think that's how I kind of came into these last 5 or so episodes. As soon as you bring up parallel universe theory, I'm just like, alright, so I don't have to pay attention to anything that's going on because until that shit gets resolved, none of this is gonna matter.
Yeah,
Unless you're watching Sliders.
Heyo.
I guess.
I think the issue with that is when they tell you, hey, we're going to reset the whole world. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's
If
kind
it
of
was
a
like
blessing
if
and
it was
a
like
curse.
hey, we're gonna smash these two things together and then let's see what happens. But no, they explicitly say we're gonna do it because we want to reset everything. It's like, all right, so then that's what you're gonna do.
Well, I don't
Could
think
you-
they
could
knew
you
that it
imagine-
was going to reset. Sorry, Jeff.
That's true. Nah, it's
They
okay.
just said, "Oh, we want to make a world that just has no Evolt in it." That was
And-
basically it.
Could you imagine how fucking pissed off we would be as Rider Club Radio if they were like, we're gonna force the two worlds together and who knows what's gonna happen? That's our plan. That's the plan for the end of the series. We don't even know if it's gonna make a new world or not.
Maybe it'll kill us all. Maybe it'll...
Maybe it just smashes two worlds together and they just become a
Yeah.
giant flaming ball of goosh.
And then
Maybe
Evil just
that
flies
ties
away.
into my favorite moment in the entirety of these 3 episodes. Maybe the entirety of the series, but I'll get to that when we get to it.
Okay.
Maybe
40
the worlds smash together and it just resets to the first episode of Build, and you're like, it didn't fix anything, and then it's like a super depressing ending.
Is it
This sounds
is this
familiar.
the big O, possibly? Oh, or another thing, right?
No, it's anything really. It's a couple
I mean,
things have done that.
Yeah, it fits. If the shoe fits, you know.
If the shoe fits,
I'm really
eat
happy. Really happy that
The
Grease got a
characters-
final form. I'm so
Yeah,
glad for
and it was
him.
cool.
it.
I like the
Yeah.
form. Even if it's just a
Pun not
recolor
intended,
with...
I'm guessing.
I didn't intend it at all.
It works anyway.
That flew right over my head. Even if it's just a recolor, I really appreciate that he's got like it's a form of like a strong theme, like an ice robot,
Yeah.
and like he fucking deserved it. That stupid 2 drill
Twin
bits.
breaker.
He deserved it.
Drill
He
bit
earned it.
Taylor.
Yeah.
No, it was a cool form.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really loved the big robot arm that it has on it as well. Like, I was a big fan of
That
that.
was cool.
Yeah,
It's a
I
good
liked
touch.
the designs on the shoulder, like the castle bit.
That
Yeah,
was
He's
cool.
got his
It's got,
buddies'
like, the symbol
designs.
from his friends, yeah.
And then he kills them.
Yep.
And he kills them. Because he has to.
He has to.
The script demands it.
The actors really do sell his death, though. Like, they are acting their asses off
Yeah.
on that rooftop
Yeah,
scene.
they're
That's
so
the-
sad when they watch him die on the jumbotrons that Evolt installed all throughout Pandora's Tower.
You know what that scene was, Jeff? That was all of them being like, "Oh shit, this show's over soon, and I need work. Here's where I'm gonna really pull it out. I have like 2 more weeks of work here.
What the fuck am I gonna do?
Time to show some range. God damn it!
Misora is gonna fucking get like so much work off this show.
Oh yeah, I mean,
If
Kamen
they ever
Rider.
need somebody to stare with giant open eyes and a lot of neck muscles, she'll have a lot of work.
Neck muscles?
Like, take a look at her when she's emoting. Her neck muscles are going crazy.
Oh, I never noticed.
Are we done talking about episode 47?
No.
What would you like to say?
I wanted to highlight that moment when Evolt walks out and says "Yo," and it breaks the silence. That has an exceptionally good emotional effect on the audience. Everyone I've talked to who saw that scene is like, this guy is the biggest piece of shit. Like, if I didn't hate him before, I fucking hate him now.
Yeah, I agree.
And I love it. Evolt himself really lost steam as this show went along.
Yep.
He got very repetitive for a while, and then he became very, like, I still have a plan even though I'm getting my dick kicked in. This is part of my plan.
Yeah.
This is my fetish.
But I'm happy that, like, some stupid thing didn't pop out of nowhere in the last episode.
Oh,
It
yeah.
had
Oh,
to be
totally.
The
I think-
final boss.
Evolt
God,
had
yes.
Evolt had some stumbling moments, but I really, really like him as a villain. And
He's a good villain. He's a villain you love to hate.
he's got development. He's got like his your relationship to him as the viewer changes as the show goes on, as you learn more about him.
He's
And-
easily in my top 3 for like
Yeah.
all of Kamen Rider.
And
He's in my top 8 on MySpace.
Is Tom,
That's an old
Tom
one.
still your number one?
Forever, man.
no one below
Forever.
30 is gonna get that one.
You guys got it.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's the bit in this episode when he comes out and he's like, "Yo, I like that because it characterizes him really strongly with like a little moment where everyone's so broken up and he doesn't even give a shit because to him it's
Yeah.
like he's just like it's just ants. Like who gives a fuck? Like I'm stepping on ants. Like hey, let's do this now."
Yeah, it's always hard as an audience member to put your brain into that space because, like, ants don't talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, if I had a conversation with an ant, I would be like, oh shit, I should probably not step on this guy. He can talk.
Evolt does not share your
No. He's like, look at that
Compassion
weird talking
for
ant.
small
I'm gonna
insects.
fuck with it.
Oh my god, he's talking. Yeah, fuck him.
No, Evolt's a kid with a magnifying glass.
Yeah, why does he want to destroy planets? Just 'cause?
He wants
Power.
to become real strong. He wants to
Oh.
be the swollest boy on the space
Is
beach.
he Galactus? Pretty much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, more or less. He eats him
He's
to
not
grow stronger.
Galactus because Galactus eats planets to live. That's like us eating a burger.
Of course.
He eats planets because he's just fucking like an asshole and he wants to be really strong.
Don't judge me, Jeff. If I don't eat a burger, I die.
It's true.
It's his genetic destiny to be the strongest in the universe.
Prescription burgers.
Like, he's just eating a burger. That's Galactus, but Evolt is not just eating a burger. He went 10 years without eating a planet.
I imagine Galactus holding Earth between 2 pieces of bread like a sandwich.
Evolt was just fasting.
He's a He's just being an asshole.
He was on a diet.
Like
for
that's
10 years.
Evolt's entire character is just being an asshole. That's it.
I did enjoy his underhanded shit in the early show.
He's
Yeah,
fun. He
that
is
was
a
fun.
very fun.
I enjoyed his machinations, like when his plan was actually a plan, and you could start putting shit together and understanding what he was trying to do. Until it broke down in the second half of the show, but a lot of stuff did.
Mm-hmm.
I like that you, like at the beginning of the show, you're like, oh, he's the friendly cafe owner. And then you're like, oh, he's like a secret double agent for Faust. He's like a bad guy. And then you're like, oh, he's like, he doesn't quite work for Faust. He has his own agenda. And you're like, oh, he's a fucking space god. Like, oh. Like, there's this sort of like progression of levels from the beginning of the show that keeps him surprising you all the time. It's really great. I love that.
There's a contingent of our audience, and maybe even those among us, who, when you just said Faust, their brain had to click back into their
Like,
memory.
oh, right, that was a thing.
To be like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was in this show.
Faust.
I always have to struggle to remember Faust's name because they were only a player at the beginning.
Yeah, they're
See,
gone.
I
after.
love the name Faust.
It's
I
so
think that is
cool.
a dope-ass evil organization name.
Fist.
And I feel like it was wasted in this show because they're only in the show for like 20 episodes.
Yeah, they're like the first half, and then after that they kind of fade into obscurity.
R.I.P. Faust.
Just a bunch of
R.I.P.
guys
Faust.
in gas masks.
Wherever Foundation X is hanging out, that's where Faust is as well. They're gone.
They merged.
Yeah.
You guys want to move on to 48?
Yes.
Are we
Let
ready?
us
Yeah.
move on to Kamen Rider Build episode 48. Liam, give us that sexy rundown.
Well, that's for after the show, but I'll tell you about the, episode 48. So Evolt appears on the top of the tower. He says, hey, what's up? And everyone gets in a big fucking fight. And while they're fighting, there's a flashback, and Sento says, hey, Banjo, at the barbecue. He says, I need to tell you something. You're the only one who can make this white panel thing work because you have Evolt's DNA in you. You have the goop in your brain. So you have to live. Even if everybody else dies, we have to leave them all to die. You got to get to the top, no matter what.
You also have Vernage's power in you, but we're never going to mention that again.
That's gone for good.
That's over.
Yeah, we're just not... Forget it.
That was just a thing for one episode, whatever.
So they have a fight, and Sento is holding the bottles behind his fucking ears or something because he falls and the bottles come out, the last two lost bottles. And Evolt puts them in and he finishes the black panel. He's like, yes, I'm going to turn it. He turns into his super, super ultra form again. He blows up the fucking moon. He starts to eat Earth. And during the time while he's eating Earth, he decides, I guess, for shits and giggles to try and shoot Metan with his shoulder cannon thingies.
Wait, you know what's fucked up? I just realized...
What's that?
I'm not sorry to interrupt you at all.
Okay, fuck you.
What, like... the moon blows up, right?
Yeah.
And it did not even register to me, because the moon blows up like 6 times in Dragon Ball. I'm just so used to the moon blowing up, it didn't even register. I was like, whatever.
It's
That's fine.
It's part of... I think it's part of Japan's version of the hero's journey. Or
The moon blows up.
The
blow
refusal
up.
of the call, the
you're-
blowing up of the moon, yeah.
Or if it's not the hero's journey in Japan, it's part of, like, the Western Japanese version. Or the Western... I'm just trying to connect it to Avatar The Last Airbender, where his Sokka's girlfriend becomes the moon.
What?
Oh, I remember that.
Did they blow up the moon after? I don't remember.
No, they do not blow up the moon.
Shit show.
The moon has to be like fucking sacrificed to or something, and they really gussy it up in the show.
So he blows up the moon. He goes to blow up the Earth. He tries to shoot Metan with his shoulder cannons because she tries to bring out Vernage to do something about it. And who jumps in the way but Gentoku, the most heroic man. And he goes and fights Evolt, and he fucking fights so hard, and he fights too hard, and he gets his ass kicked, and he dies.
He punches him in the dick so many times.
Breaks his
He
face
really
plate.
does punch him in the dick.
He gets in there.
over and over and over again.
I love the broken
But he
face plate, though.
succeeds. It is great. I love the open faceplate. But he succeeds in his goal to punch him in the dick enough that his dick no longer works.
Yeah. He folds
So
like a
his
cheap mattress.
trigger no longer works.
Yeah, he punches it so hard that the trigger stops working, so Sento and Banjo are fighting him again. They manage to kick him so hard that the bottles come out in like a goopy wave, and the panel comes out in a goopy wave, and they slam the white panel into it. And the black hole opens up to the other Earth, and second Earth comes through, and there's a big tear in space-time where physics don't apply, and Banjo grabs Evolt and says, "Fuck this," and flies him up. He says, "Thanks, Sento, I'll do it, because I have his DNA. We'll both die."
Sento loses his genius form.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, how am I gonna get Evolt into this giant space vagina now that I can't fly with my genius form? And Banjo says, no, I'll sacrifice myself because I'm only the secondary.
It is my job to die.
It is his job to job.
My home planet needs me. So,
Technically. It did.
That's true. So he flies off into the great big vagina in the sky before his time.
As we all hope to do one day.
Yeah, you're good.
What is your idea?
What did you guys think of? What did you guys think of the penultimate episode of Build?
Liam, you glossed over two of my favorite bits about this episode.
Was it the moon
What's that?
hands?
It was the bit where Gentoku.
They're your favorite parts.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember his name. You piece of shit. It's the bit where Gentoku is getting talked to by Grease.
In the flashback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In the flashback, and Grease is telling him like, "Hey, I forgive you," and the first, like, when he said that, it had to register for me for a second. Like, wait, hold on. This guy killed two of your best friends in the whole world, and, now he's working with you. And, he's dealing with all of the trauma of, God, all this shit that I did when I was under the control of Pandora's box's goo or energy or whatever the hell. And Grease is telling him, hey, I forgive you. And I think after this is all said and done, you should go back to being a politician because you seemed like you were pretty good at that. And I feel like that was a really, really good little moment to have for Gentoku to sort of place his... explain why it is that he's trying so hard right now, like why he jumped in front of Misora. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm just going to do this because I want to. It's like, no, he felt more empowered because Grease forgave him for actions that he felt were unforgivable. And I honestly didn't ever expect the show to like touch on that or even acknowledge the fact that maybe Gentoku was like super guilty, and I didn't even really feel like it was on Grease to offer that forgiveness, and I felt like that was a great scene that I honestly, out of these 3 episodes, that was the one part in these 3 episodes I totally didn't expect.
Now that you mention it, it doesn't really seem like Gentoku felt all that guilty about killing his buds.
He is like cooking burgers at the moment when
it's
like
kind of
happily cooking burgers.
Remember what he was like when he first joined the gang and he was this goofy clown man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he didn't give a fuck.
It's very internalized.
He like struggled momentarily several times, like when he's like super hurt and he was trying to get out to fight, and he was like, I have to make up for the atrocities that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
So he did a few times.
It wasn't
the Japanese
explicitly
are apparently
mentioned, no.
a lot more forgiving than I am as a person. Like, no matter what you do after you kill 2 of my best friends, I'm probably not gonna forgive you.
Really? What if I wear funny shirts?
Alright, we're good.
Cool. I think that speaks to Grease's character a little, though.
Yeah.
It definitely does. Also, I don't think that comparison exactly works because Liam. That'd be like if some dude on the street killed like me and Liam, or me and whoever. And
I said my best friends.
Oh.
Well,
we'll see you next month, folks.
Yeah. Have fun doing this show solo now.
I did it once. I didn't insult Max. He could be on the show with me.
oh, okay.
Bam.
Oh.
Yes, it would be like if some motherfucker off the street killed my bestest pals, Liam and Tamaz. I would never forgive him. Or her. Women can be murderers too. Hashtag women can be murderers too.
I don't think that hashtag is sending the message you want it to.
Murder is an equal opportunity employer.
It's true. It doesn't check your background references either.
So the other thing that this episode did that I really liked, and a couple people actually mentioned it and noticed it, including friend of the show Eric, when Gentoku is fallen down in the middle of the
fucking asshole.
In the middle of the fucking Stonehenge that they have up there on top of Pandora's Tower.
Mm-hmm.
As he's falling down, or like as he's dying, you can see his shadow because he's untransformed and he's just sort of like turning into space dust.
Yeah.
His shadow that's cast on the stones behind him is the shadow of Rogue, not Gentoku.
Yeah,
it's like his
That
suit.
was pretty dope.
And that was, I thought that was just going to be like a little hint of something like blink and you miss it, but they actually keep it on screen for quite some time.
Yeah.
It's quite obvious.
And then
yeah.
next to him is Anakin Skywalker, and then there's the shadow of...
Also,
this is why Max gets to stay in the show.
Yeah, this is... just when we're on the brink of firing him, he says something like that, and then we're good.
Well,
also, I always get a kick. This is obviously much more superficial, but I always get a kick when riders get their helmets damaged and you can see their face through their helmet. It's my favorite thing.
Tamaz was mentioning that earlier. That's like the coolest shit.
yeah.
I watch Rider just for those scenes so I can see them.
Like
And then
in
I'm just waiting.
G3,
Just
when
for
his
that.
face
When it's
like
over, I'm
breaks.
just waiting for the next one.
Did you get to the part in Blade?
I think I've seen one in Blade, one helmet break.
Yeah.
That shit's got to be expensive.
Yeah.
You have to make a new prop.
In
Yeah, it's true.
in Go Busters, they break their fucking visors all the time.
Yeah, I've
I
heard
guess
that
that's
happens.
easier since the visor's like a really easy thing to just like switch out with a broken visor.
Yeah, they could probably pop
Hopefully.
it out.
Yeah, they...
The speaking of not having the money to make a new prop, the next episode.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
I'm not skipping to that yet. We can keep talking about this one, but that like stood out like a fucking glaring error to me. I
man.
guess whatever.
We'll get to that. Yeah, this is...
We'll get to that. This episode, though, Gentoku's sacrifice again, like Tamaz mentioned, we know the world is getting reset at this point. Like, you figured out what's happening by now.
Yeah.
So
If you've
it's
seen Kamen
a little
Rider
bit of
before,
the
at
edge
least.
is taken out of it.
There was a bit before where you're like, maybe they'll find another way, but after so many people die, you're like, nah, they're gonna reset it. We know. They're gonna switch.
I mean, it has the second death syndrome. Like, when you watch an action movie and, like, a character dies, you're, like, heartbroken about it. Like, I love this guy. But then if another character dies, you're just like,
They're
alright.
dead too.
It loses its
whatever, I
emotional
guess.
impact if you keep doing it too much.
Yeah, that kind of happened with Gentoku, but I felt like he had a really good death that meant something. He didn't just fight, like, 3 mirages.
Yeah, he's the true hero of the show.
Yeah. If it wasn't for him, the world would be totally aided right now. We'd be fucking digesting an Evolt's body. I guess that's how it works. I don't know.
He's a patriot. He saved the world.
Actually, I think the only thing that would change is because this is the... I don't know if I can bring that up because that's a bit in the final episode, so I should leave it. Actually,
no
probably
spoilers
shit.
on the next
Yeah.
episode that
I
we're
was
about
just-
to talk about in 3 minutes.
I was just going to mention the bit where he says, like, oh, I have this screenplay for Kamen Rider Build, and I'm like, well,
That
was-
I guess
that
because
was
we
some
have
shit.
Kamen Rider Build... I hated that stupid thing.
I've got some thoughts that I brainstormed with friend of the show Eric, who I actually do know. Or he might have just been there. I don't know, but I brought up a couple points that I would love to talk about when we get there.
Okay. I'll be happy to hear them.
I just wanted to. Thank you, Max. At least somebody here has some manners.
Damn. I'm not gonna.
Fuck you, Jeff.
Yeah.
There we go. That's more what I'm used to. Like, I always liked Gentoku and felt like they didn't know exactly what to do with him. I think maybe that's a testament to the actor's ability more than how they were writing him.
Yeah.
Oh, most certainly.
Because they really floundered figuring out what to do with him.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he at least went out with, like, a heroic death that, like, redeemed him from all the atrocities he committed in the past.
Yeah, it's a shame that they put all the... Like, if you look at Gentoku's death and Kazumin's death back to back, it's clear which one they poured way more time and like drama into was Kazumin's, where like there's like
it's clear which character they poured way more time and effort into.
Whereas like I guess like it makes with Gentoku they don't have time to grieve, but like from a writing perspective, it's clear that the writers give way more of a shit about Grease than about Rogue, which is a shame because like you said earlier, Grease's sacrifice is kind of contrived and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Whereas Rogue's is really fucking important and does something that saves the world. It's a shame. It's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like... Kazumin kind of had like a death wish, really. Because he was struggling against the 3 dudes or whatever, but he's the one who told everybody to go upstairs.
He was
go
like, it's okay,
upstairs and
guys.
Go to your room.
He was like, everybody go upstairs... and I'll take care of these guys because I'm gonna kill myself.
I have a plan. If I start to lose, I'll just kill myself, and then they can't.
And then Sento gives him a gun.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good
Here's
luck.
this gun. Don't point it at yourself.
There's a great part, I guess I forgot to mention it in the last episode, there's a great part in 47 that I kind of like, where they bump into the Heck Bros, and Gendoku says, I'll stay behind, and they're looking at him, and Banjo it looks like he's about to say, no, don't, we'll help you, and Sento says, no, fucking do it, we're leaving. Like, I get that. I kind of enjoy that. Sento is kind of like, his determination and his willingness to just leave people behind just to get Banjo to the top of the tower. Almost cold in a way, but...
It is a little cold, actually.
I like
now
that
you
bit.
mention
It's
it.
cold
I didn't
in the
think of it that
moment.
way.
There's
It's
this
cold in the moment,
pregnant-ass
but he
pause.
explains it.
Yeah. There's this very pregnant pause where he's like, yeah, you can stay and die, we don't care, we need to get to the top, so fuck you.
Also, like, we're not really that close of friends, so I guess you could just fucking die.
Yeah, you're kind of a douche, so you stay there.
You and your stupid fucking t-shirts. We get it. You don't have a personality.
He did, anyway.
I like Gentoku, though. I feel bad that so much time and effort was put into Kazumin's death, which was great, and like visually his fight scene and death scene was like really well done.
It was top tier shit.
Pretty dang cool.
Fuck yeah.
When you put like 5 seconds of thought into it, it kind of falls apart a little bit. But maybe he did have a death wish, and he just wanted to be with his best friends, those 3 guys whose names I don't remember.
Akaba, Aoba, and Kiba.
Okay.
Those are their nicknames. They have real names, but I will never, ever remember those. So
Yeah, it's really easy to remember the nicknames because it's just red, blue, and yellow with ba at the end.
yeah.
I don't know Japanese.
It's too bad that he had no reason to kill them anyway.
It's a damn shame.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
He just wanted to die. He wanted to die.
Yeah.
Don't
He
we
had
all?
terminal cancer. He just wanted to die.
Excuse me, Tom?
Anyways, episode
I
49.
was hoping to just slip that by there.
On to episode 49. So in episode 49... What?
No, let's move on to episode 49.
I
Yeah,
think
let's-
we've said our piece about episode 48. This is the final episode
And now the
of
conclusion.
Kamen Rider Build. I would like to point out that if you do not want to listen to a spoiler cast about the entirety of Kamen Rider Build, shut this shit off when we get done talking about this episode.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about the whole show.
Liam.
Yes, Jeff?
Go Liam, I choose you.
Okay, let's do it.
Use exposition dump.
Get ready. It's going to be super effective. It's going to be not very effective, like usual.
It does nothing.
Oh,
Oh.
it hurt
So
itself with
Sento-
its confusion.
Sento is at the top. Sento's at the top of the tower, and there's like a convenient rainbow road leading up to the vagina. And Mitan's
When
like,
is there not?
When is there not?
It's the
Mitan's
road where you
like-
go when you die.
Mitan's like, Sento, don't go. There's no guarantee that you'll come back. And Sento says, I gotta go. And he hops up the road with his rabbit form. And he goes to the tear in space-time, which looks like a desert on the edge of Tokyo. And Banjo's there.
It has cubes laying around in it.
Oh, sorry. That makes it completely alien. Banjo's there, and he's been absorbed by Evolt. And he says, look, I've absorbed Banjo. If I absorb you, I'll be maximum power. I can repair this stupid, hazard trigger or evolt trigger, revolt trigger, whatever it's called, and start absorbing planets again. So all I gotta do is kick your ass, and then I'll be full power, and everything's fucked. So Sento gets his ass kicked, and Banjo, who's like inside evolt, he holds him still for a second, and it helps him like beat evolt up a little bit, but evolt like forces him out, and it turns Banjo into like a silver dragon bottle on the ground.
Yes.
So Sento fights evolt, and he fights him in all of his forms. He beats him all the way back down to Rabbit Tank, and it just doesn't work. And then
it's working. It's like knocking fucking pieces off of him like a goddamn PlayStation 1
he
boss.
Loses his shoulder cannons and his moon hands.
That's true. He punches his moon gloves and his shoulder cannons, yeah.
Yep.
They fight to a standstill, and then Sento's rabbit bottle turns gold because he's so determined. And he uses the gold rabbit and the silver dragon, and he turns into the CGI form. That's all CGI, and he kicks him so hard, he kicks Evolt so hard that it blows up the vagina, and the two worlds merge.
You're damn right it does.
Evolt dies, the two worlds merge. Sento wakes up, and everyone's just normal, like the Prime Minister's just normal. There's no aliens, there's no Faust, there's no riders, everything's normal. He's got a weird watch with Banjo's rider form on it for some reason, but he just puts that away, and that's never mentioned again. And,
good. Tune in next week.
Even Banjo's there, but it's like normal, non-alien Banjo. He's just a fighter, and everything's normal for him. Yeah, he's got black hair. So Sento's like, shit.
Alive.
Sento's like, damn, I'm truly alone in this world. That sucks. And then Banjo comes and says, the real Banjo. He's like, damn, there's two of me. Sento, I'm here. I remember everything.
He's macking on my girl.
Yeah, there's another me who's dating my dead girlfriend. This seems to affect him not at all.
No, he doesn't give a fuck about his girlfriend.
He's just like, man, this shit's weird. Series. I don't get it. It sucks.
I'd be trying to steal that girl. Anyways.
He acts like a teenager that's been mildly inconvenienced.
He's already got a new girlfriend, Sento.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they ride off into the sunset knowing that they're the only two people who will truly understand each other.
For the rest of their lives. They're going to become steamy lovers.
And then they kiss.
Sento writes a Kamen Rider series.
And then Sento stands on a hill and he's like, I've decided to chronicle my adventures as Kamen Rider Build into 49 episodes, which I will now recite to you on the top of this hill.
And then the
by Bilbo Baggins
thing that they do at the beginning of the episodes.
Yeah,
the recap part.
Genius physicist Sento Kiryu.
It turns out that they're actually just from the end of the show, and they say them into a little tape recorder.
I didn't make that connection.
This does not explain how characters who wouldn't remember any of this happening appear in those recaps.
Unless there are alternate versions of every other character in the show,
but then there'd have to be alternate versions of every single person. Then,
so they accidentally doubled the population of the entire planet Earth,
thus dooming everybody.
Yeah, like resources are at an all-time low now. Like people are dying of starvation the world over. But hey, at least we didn't get eaten.
Instead, we're eating the Earth.
So straight off the bat, I want to talk about the fact that they did not bother to make a suit.
Yeah, let's address the elephant in the room.
Like, why? Why? Like, they've made 1 billion suits. They've made suits that have appeared for 5 seconds. Like, the fucking Evolt final form appears for a total of maybe 20 minutes screen time.
Here's my hottest of hot takes again. I think if they weren't going to make a suit, they shouldn't have done the suit. They should have just had him
Agreed.
It's a silver dragon bottle, and this just gives me the power I need, and fuck having a suit. It's just Rabbit Tank, and I'm going to take him. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
I want that to be his real final form. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
His real final form is him and his best butt buddy friend fusing together. Oh, wait, that's double again.
Yeah. Whoops.
Oh.
Isn't there?
But they do that anyway.
Isn't there a gold rabbit silver dragon form in a movie or a hyper battle video or something? I swear I saw something about this.
Maybe in
they made one
shitty movie. Yeah.
In one of the shitty movies, like the Spring movie or something, they made a form of that.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did make it, and the problem is that they just had to keep him CGI so he could fly into the sky or whatever right afterwards. But that's still stupid.
What if the suit wasn't ready?
Disproportionate body, too. They could have done better.
That's the thing. I was looking at, like, a little preview of Kamen Rider Geo in the new, like, whatever the fuck, like...
TV-kun?
Kamen Rider video game.
Oh, yeah.
Why can't anyone related to Toei model a fucking human body?
I don't know.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean, if
I was gonna say,
I just
why
spent time on that fucking game, it would probably be good.
Yeah.
Just rush it
So
out.
yeah.
Little
Rider
Hiroshi
game.
can play it.
The sad thing about Rider games is Bamco can make good games. They do it all the time, but for some reason, the second they get a Rider contract, they're like, "All right, let's phone this shit right in."
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when your cousin wanted a job with us? Just bring him in. We'll have him. Everybody's cousin can work on this.
It's like they're like, we got to make a game. We have like X million of budget. We got to make a Kamen Rider game. The budget is 3 hot dogs and some pocket change. Let's do it.
Wait, what is Kamen Rider Build cross build form?
You found it?
What if in like
Did they make a suit?
in the Bamco building, there's just like a broom closet that's just labeled Kamen Rider Games.
One overworked middle-aged dude on a computer,
Yeah,
like, just trying so
He's
hard.
just on like an old Windows 95 computer sitting on a card table.
Here's the thing. Just the other day, it's funny you mentioned Kamen Rider Games, Jeff, because just the other day I fired up Betrayed War Genesis again, because I just felt like playing it. And the animations in that are better than the animations in this fight. I don't know if they just don't have anybody on mocap at Toei
maybe.
Studios or whatever.
They're definitely not using motion capture.
No, for sure.
Like, they're moving like characters from season 1 of Reboot.
Yes, oh my god.
Maybe worse than that, honestly.
The pilot of Reboot.
Just kind of skating around.
Yeah, there is.
I remember this form.
Yeah, I
Why
remember
did he just
seeing
turn
this.
into this?
I don't know.
I want to
Because
see it.
fuck you.
Let's look.
That's the
let's-
movie
Let's
form.
take a moment to look at the Skype.
Take a look.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something, all right.
Like, it's not great looking or anything, but it looks a lot better than the CGI abomination we got.
It's
Yeah.
a suit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a suit.
And I
The
don't
thi-
know when John Toei was so averse to dip into suit and gold paint.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, the design is actually pretty cool. It's like half gold rabbit and half silver dragon. That's
Yeah.
a cool design. In action, they spent 3 seconds in Adobe Model Maker, which isn't even a real program, and shat out what was on screen. I don't know, maybe hours went into that or something, and they just couldn't get it right, and they were like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Like,
But it
I
doesn't
mean,
look
CG's
good.
expensive.
Kamen
Yes.
Rider is like it's such a, it airs weekly, every single week, right? They can't stop. So I guess the production of it has to be so utilitarian and so, like, time sensitive.
Function over form.
Yeah, there's a
Yes.
point where you just have to save some fucking time. I guess maybe something went wrong and they were like, we just have to CGI it. It's all we have time for. Like, just make something
Like-
sculptress and fucking go.
Like, here's the fucking problem of function over form, is that form is this entire show. The entire series is form.
Yeah.
Forms plural.
Like, yes.
Heyo.
Like, it's all flash and like, the substance is all very secondary, but then, like, when they get to the flash, they're like, fuck it, we don't have the money.
Sometimes it really does look very good, but
Yeah.
it's really only surprising because it's the last episode of the show, and it's so obvious.
They spent all the CG
Yeah.
money on the space vagina.
They spent it all on the big robot walker thing that they used in one episode, so they could have it in the
They-
opening.
I was about to say, they use that in every episode. That's money well spent.
They gotta get their money's worth out of that robot walker.
Like the purple
Everybody
spikes,
loved it, so...
the purple spikes in Double.
Oh yeah, the purple
Yeah.
spikes. No, that was in Drive.
There was those,
That was
That was in
Drive.
yeah,
Drive.
the drive,
that was in Drive.
when he
Yeah.
drove through the purple spikes at the very beginning, and then they appeared at the very end of the show.
Mhm.
There's a callback like that with the voiceovers. the recaps being actually from the end of the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like that. I mean, it's clever, I guess, but it does raise a whole bunch of questions.
I feel like it's much like Grease's death, contrived a little bit. Why would they... Yes. It feels like there's no real reason to do it. It's like for the sake of, it's a little clever to have this.
And so they just did it.
If anything, if you want to do something like that, I'd say, like, I wrote, like... Don't even say 49 episodes, we're going to narrate it like this. Have them like, I wrote a script or something. I wrote a book about these wild adventures that people will probably like to read or something.
So here's the thing I wanted to get to.
What?
I mentioned earlier. Imagine you are Kazumine. You're a farmer.
Sure.
You and your farmer pals work on a farm. One day, you happen to turn on the TV, and there's this new show on called Kamen Rider Build. And a war criminal shows up to attack the main character, whose name is your name, who looks exactly like you, talks like you, and has your exact backstory.
Wait a minute!
They would have to... Kamen Rider Build is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to...
Oh, you mean what they do at the end of the episode?
They do that.
They say Kamen Rider Build is a work of fiction. Like, oh shit, I thought they stole the character of Evolt from the real-life Evolt that we all know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, oh man, I thought they stole the character of Metan from the real-life Metan that we watch on the internet all the time.
They would have to change everyone's names to protect the innocent.
Actually, Evolt bags my groceries down at Trader Joe's.
Like, here's the thing, is that, I think Max is the one who said it. Tomas said Max said it, and he's usually right about these things. The entirety of this ending part is just to connect to the next series.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is bad form.
I don't remember saying that at all, but I'll take it.
I remember I want to say it was Max who said last month, where they said, what if when the two worlds merge, the new world is G.O.'s world? And we were all like, oh no.
That is something Max said, yeah.
He did say that.
Okay.
And that's bad form. You should not wrap up your entire show. A show should be a story by just, like, weekly leading into the next show.
It's always jarring when Rider series do that, where they have, then here's the next Rider coming through a portal or whatever. That's jarring. This is less jarring, but, like, more just confusing and kind of sloppy, I guess is the word.
This is like... It's like cutting the tendons in the backs of your knees so you can't walk so that someone else can walk. You're like,
what?
Wait, hold on. That's not how that works.
What is this?
I would like you to explain.
I'm not following that metaphor at all, yeah.
What I'm basically saying is the show took its ending, completely handicapped it in order, like, it doesn't work. Personally, this is my I didn't really like the ending. I felt like it didn't really do anything. The only bit I liked is, I guess, the two main characters now get to hang out for the rest of time because no one else can relate to them. They experienced all of these, events, and now no one remembers anything, and they're their own people, and there's duplicates of them in this universe. But the tying it into G.O. and all of that, it's like you're completely foregoing having a final episode so that you can have, like, a prequel tie-in episode to the next series, but it doesn't improve the next series. Like, the next series doesn't need that.
Well, to play devil's advocate for a moment, because everybody loves that guy.
Sure.
This final episode doesn't actually mention Geo in any way, shape, or form. We just know from meta-knowledge that it's leading into the next show. So it's not like they completely...
Yeah,
this could have been the way the show was going to end the whole time. I highly doubt that. Mm-hmm. But it's still coherent as its own story. It's not good. Like, the last part of this show is not good, but it is coherent as its own story.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I wonder... when they, like, because this whole world smashing together thing has been in the story for 5-ish episodes, 4 or 5 episodes.
Something like that, yeah.
I wonder how, like, was that Toei just stepping down and saying, hey, this is how you gotta end the show, because we want to lead into Go, and we've seen in Go, Sento's going to be in there for like one episode, I think 1 or 2 at the very beginning. I wonder if that was executive meddling, saying this is how you have to do it.
Could be.
I would say so.
Yeah, we just announced our new baby. Set up for our new baby. Fuck the old baby. We don't care about that one anymore.
Move him into the regular bedroom. He gets to sleep alone.
Gotta make way for that new toy line.
I would argue, because that's such an issue with, like, in video games, there's always questions of, you know, if something is not quite right, you're like, was this by design, or was this meddling from producers, or was this, you know, from some other company, or like some executive, or
you're giving
some
me
market
Bionic
research
Commando,
bullshit,
like flashbacks right now. Stop.
What it really comes down to isn't like whose fault is it, but what does it do to the final product, the final game, the final show, whatever. Like, whoever's fault it is, like, you know, that sucks, but what it really comes down to is like, what did it do
right?
to the show?
Oh.
It makes its ending not very good.
Yeah, so, you know, it kind of sucks, but
that's the frustrating part about Build as a whole. And by the way, everybody, now we're in the Spoilercast portion.
Yeah, fuck it. We've segued. We're here.
We've
yeah,
segued
go ahead
into the
and put the time code in here. Spoilercast.
376 minutes into the podcast.
Okay.
Turn it off if you don't like the.
We're going long today, I guess.
Skip to this time code if you.
000. Skip to this time code.
Just restart the whole episode.
It's
just like Build.
It's really sucky that Build was so good for so long. Like, I was a pretty big fan of Build and the way it was shaping up and everything.
I think we could all agree with that.
While everybody was still kind of fawning over it, like, I liked it. If you go back, you can see my reactions getting a little, like, milquetoast as we got towards, like, the middle part.
Toast?
Yeah, it's a word. Look it up.
It is a word.
Okay.
It's spelled wrong, but it is a word.
It is spelled incorrectly. Like, my reactions got a little bit more low-key as we got towards the middle, and then it started winning me back again. And then we got the last, like, 5-6 episodes, and it really did shit the bed, exactly like we were worried about when we first started talking about it.
I don't know if I entirely agree with Build shitting the bed. I agree that it started a lot better than it ended, that's for sure.
It's just like the entirety of like the parallel universes
that was a real bummer.
In 5 episodes before the
show. It got real
ends.
post-decade near the end for sure. Like, I was telling Tomas this. Like, I remember when before like this whole series started, they were like saying like, oh, it's gonna be like a fusion of like pre-decade and post-decade, and like the whole first half it felt like early Heisei, right? A little bit, sort of, possibly.
A little bit. It had that kind of mysterious feel to it.
Yeah, it was like firing on all cylinders, like Agito and stuff like that. Like, I remember us comparing it a lot to Agito, and then near the end, it was like, okay.
You can see the seams. I mean, if they're talking about it being half pre-decade and half post-decade, you can definitely see the seam where they bunch up against each other.
It got a little bombastic towards the end, a little more post-decade-y towards the end.
A lot more formulaic.
I don't dislike this series.
Yeah.
I do not dislike this series in any way, shape, or form.
I should we're gonna bitch a lot. I'm gonna come out and say I love Build. Like, I love
Build
this
is
show.
great.
It's one of the best
great.
Rider shows I've seen.
Like, I don't think I would say I love Build, because I don't know. I guess I reserved that word like an asshole, but like I really like it. I really like Build.
Yeah,
I would watch it again.
It was enjoyable.
I'd watch Build again just to try and piece together everything in the first half of the show with the second half of the show.
Do you think like after knowing everything, like would that just like kind of ruin the whole first half?
There are some hints earlier on about the Katsuragi Takumi reveal. I remember in the Build and fucking what was before Build, X-Aid?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Am I insane? Yeah, Build and X-Aid movie. It starts with Sento having a dream that he was Build as Katsuragi Takumi, and he gets up and he's like, why was I dreaming that I was, like, it was a memory? Like, why did I have Katsuragi Takumi's memories? That's fucked up. And, like, you don't know at the time because it hasn't gotten that far.
Mm-hmm.
Even before that, he eats the fucking sugary eggs.
Yeah,
and
he
loves
eats
them,
the
and
sugary
only
egg
one
roll.
person and everyone's ever met likes those.
Yeah, his
Mhm.
mom couldn't piece it together.
But that was around when even we
His
started.
mom, who never appeared again.
That was around when we started guessing, like, this guy might be Katsuragi Takumi, and he might have had his face changed, because I believe that was already, like, a plot element at that point,
Yeah,
too.
I don't remember. if it
I'm
was-
surprised they
face
used
changing.
face changing as liberally as they did. I expected them to go like or as conservatively as they did. I expected them to go like fucking
Yeah.
full on change
I
everyone's
wasn't
face.
trusting
All
any
this deception.
character. I was like, this fucker's fake.
Getting fucking hog wild on face
Yeah.
swapping.
Mhm.
We're getting full Nicolas Cage in this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to make a statement really quick, also, while
Let's
we're
go
doing
ahead.
this.
Statement.
While we're
Go
talking
ahead.
about the ending. People say that Build's ending is better than Ryuki's ending, but I'll say this. Alternate dimensions in Build are introduced like 5 episodes before the end. Time Vent in Ryuki is introduced in episode 28. So take from that what you will.
Yeah, I got a question.
What's that?
On my Curious Cat, which is fun to do. You guys
Curious
should do that.
Cat. Oh, that thing on the
People-
tweeter.
Yeah, people can just anonymously send you
Form
questions.
Spring.
Yeah, it's Form
Yeah.
Spring.
CuriousCat.me, motherfuckers, is what it's called. But I got a question that was like, what has the worst ending? And like, is Build's ending better than Ryuki's? Because I think Ryuki's is shit. And I was like, I mean, it was disappointing. Like,
Ryuki's ending is a
it-
cop-out, I'm not gonna deny
yeah,
that shit.
it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the
But
ending is shit.
I wouldn't put it
just-
on the same level as Build's ending, honestly.
Build is still like it. I don't know. It's hard to. I don't like the resetting because it really cheapens everything that happens before it, especially in this show because they discuss it, 5 or 6 episodes before it even happens. So you're essentially telling the audience, hey, from now on, anything that's going to happen is just sort of prefixed. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is here, but it's like you're not just thinking about what's happening on screen, you're constantly also thinking about, well, wait, everything here isn't really going to matter because they're going to end the show and everything's just going to get reset. So
Everything that happens has a little asterisk next to it.
yeah, just like, well, that happened, but what if none of this happened?
It was all a
I think
dream.
if like
Build is like a fresh wound. I think I might walk back my Ryuki, and it not being a fair comparison to Ryuki, because Build is a fresh wound, and the Ryuki wound has closed and healed by now. It just left a little scar.
Ryuki's an old
So
wound, yeah.
talk to me in 14 years.
Okay.
I'll put that in my time capsule.
I think they could have made the whole world world reset ending better if they had played up a little more the drama of, like, there's a new world and everything's better, but you're all alone in it. Like, have that like bittersweet tinge in it, and you can actually pull a little drama and a little storytelling out of the new world. But Sento doesn't really dwell on that at all. He doesn't really, him or Banjo don't really seem to give much of a shit that, like, we are alone.
They have each other.
They just kind of shrug and move on.
Don't
And that's the
get
that's
rid of
the
Banjo.
Post
Fuck Banjo in the ending. Just have Sento. He's left all by himself, and he is the only one who will ever know, and he's technically the creator of the world, but no one's ever going to know, and he's alone.
That's the post-decade part of this, right? There has to be a happy ending.
I
You
guess.
can't not have a happy ending.
I like bittersweet endings, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Kuga has like a happy ending. I won't get into
a lot of pre-decade series have a happy ending, but they're much more likely to have a bittersweet ending or a downtrot ending than I don't think any post-decade series has one.
or they just don't have an
They
ending.
could have had one for...
That's true.
Oh, never mind. I don't want to spoil...
I want to know the end of that sentence
double.
later.
They could have had one for double,
yeah.
but they didn't.
God, I wish. I wish.
We can all pretend.
It's like Build as a whole is a pretty good package. I think I would recommend Build, but I would definitely have a little asterisk next to it. It's like, it says down in the corner,
Shit gets weird.
Prepare to not enjoy the ending.
It's a good show. It doesn't have a long shelf life. It gets sour towards the end.
I guess that's the difference in when you're like trying to recommend a TV show to somebody as compared to like a movie or a book or like a video game or something. If any of those things have like a terrible, well, not a video game, but like a movie or a book or something, if either of those have like a terrible ending, you would never recommend them to anybody.
It's tough to recommend something, yeah.
Yeah.
But with a TV series, you can be like, well, it's really good, and then the ending's bad, and people will still watch it.
Just
Or
skip
it'll
season
be
2
like
or something.
It'll be like Next Generation, where it's just like the first season sucks, but after that,
Yeah, I always tell people to try to find like a watch list for the Next Generation and just follow that. They can go back and watch the ones they missed afterwards, but the first 2 seasons are full of stinkers.
I think I would put Build not quite in the same league as Gaim, but maybe a little below it, but they kind of have the same structure where it starts and you're like, this is the best show ever. And it has a bit of a weaker ending, but I still strongly recommend Gaim, and I think I'm still going to strongly recommend Build in the same manner.
I think Gaim has a stronger ending than Build.
Yeah.
I think Gaim has a stronger lots of things than Build
but it does
in some
get
areas.
Weaker. It does get weaker towards the end.
It does get weaker, but I don't think it gets as weak. Like, you start discounting everything that's going on. It has kind of a strange turn at the end with the villain. But it's not oh well, let's just forget everything that happened because we just reset everything, and we don't even have a totally satisfying ending because we just want it to be saccharine. We want Sento and Banjo to just sort of be running around doing their own thing in a world of Sento's design. Meanwhile, everyone else is going about their day-to-day in like a happier universe version of themselves where everyone's better off except for these two.
I mean, they're better off.
I mean, yeah, that's
The
true.
world doesn't get eaten anymore.
The
That's
world
pretty
doesn't
good.
get, like, everything's great.
They just have no friends except for each other.
But
They can make new
even that,
friends.
like,
I guess
yeah,
so.
they can make new friends and they could reconnect with their
Yeah, but,
old
like,
pals. But it'd
if-
be kind of hard to explain all that shit.
Yeah, Sento makes a new friend, and they're like, so, like, where'd you go to school? Or, like, what have you been doing before you met me? And you're like, oh, you.
Tugs
You can
on
just tell them
collar.
everything that happened. You can tell them everything you did up until you became Kamen Rider. Like
Up until you became the devil's scientist.
Even that, I guess. You just wouldn't call yourself the devil's scientist. You're like, I went to like Japan Technical University and got my degree in making super belts, and I worked with the government to make super belts, but I left it because of some bad circumstances.
Upper management was
Because
shit.
my dad killed himself.
Yeah.
But then he didn't.
What?
My dad killed himself, but then it turned out he didn't, and then he got killed.
Man, your life is super dramatic, dude.
He got killed by a space alien.
What?
And then you've gone too far. You tipped
And
over.
then what? And you're like, oh, sorry, I've had too much to drink.
And what about
You gotta hit him
what
with
about
the-
you, Banjo?
the
What did you do
deneuralizer.
before here?
Too much orange juice.
Oh, well, I was born from space goo in my mom's coochie.
Here's the thing.
Banjo's is a little harder, I guess, because
How-
it's like, what did you do before I met you? Oh, I was a prize fighter.
Like,
What?
I'm Banjo. How is Banjo gonna get a fucking social security number in this new world?
Just steal it from the other one.
He already exists. How is Sento
Just-
gonna get a driver's
Just
license?
kill the other Banjo.
Sento actually already doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's true. See,
Kill
I thought
Sato Taro, kill the other Banjo, and you're fine.
I
But
always thought
if he kills Sato Taro, he has to become Sato Taro again.
I wonder if, what's his name? Katsuragi exists in this world.
probably.
His spirit, I like that his spirit, which is not a spirit, is actually just part of Sento's mind because they're the same guy. Pieces the fuck out. In
See
the
ya.
new world.
Yeah, I'm done
Work
here.
your
He's like,
gun.
I don't even know where the fuck I'm going. Peace.
I'm going into your subconscious to never return.
I'm just gonna surface again in 3 decades and completely ruin your life later.
I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna know all your weird fetishes and shit. Just you wait.
Where is he going? Like, he fades away into like little particles, like he's dying, but he
used the Blizzard knuckle off screen.
It's a clever visual metaphor for the protagonist no longer needing the assistance of a character that he didn't need the assistance of in the first place,
and who provided him no assistance,
except to discourage him.
Well, he did make the genius bottle.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that wasn't assisting anybody. He made it for himself.
Well, actually, he made it. He made it for himself, and then he couldn't fucking use it.
Yeah, he made it for himself, who is also Sento. So I guess if you look at it that way,
ouch, my Brian.
I was under the impression that at the end of the show, like before it became clear that everything was fucked, I was always under the impression that at the end of the show, the government would be like, "Thank you so much, Sento, and for your service, we'll make sure you get a social security number and all that shit. We'll get you in the system." Obviously,
kids don't give a fuck about that. Why would a kid care?
We're gonna make you illegal.
Does Japan have social security?
I don't know. They have social Japan numbers, but it's like
fucking no kid is gonna be like an American kid and be like, "Is he legal?
How's this guy gonna pay his taxes?"
It's something I thought to myself that like after the end of the show that would happen probably, but now it's definitely not happening, and I'm worried about him now. I'm worried about the boy and how he's gonna live. He can't get a job.
How are they gonna get food?
He can't open a bank account. Yeah.
They're just going to do the thing...
You should have thought of that.
They're going to do the thing that everyone does in Kamen Rider, where they just sort of tool around like not quite homeless people, like Ankh, and then just live off fucking ice cream.
Showa riders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they even have their rider gear, though? How does he even use his bike anyway? Like, it needs a bottle to function.
He kept the bottle. I don't know.
But how did
the bottle went in the box?
The bottle was made out of Pandora energy. How the fuck does it exist?
Why don't you all just shut up?
How does he even have the bike? He made it in an alternate universe.
Did you write this show, Liam?
Yes. I am the build writer, just like I wrote Ghost. I've been writing every Rider series since we've started this podcast. I've been writing all of them.
You've been real hit or miss, buddy.
Yeah, well, I have
what the fuck happened with Ghost?
You need to get your shit together.
I was going through some shit with Ghost. I'm sorry.
Why'd you have to make it everyone else's fault? Or everyone else's problem?
Liam was going through a lot of shit where, like, he couldn't make any friends, and his family didn't like him much, and, like, he couldn't get anybody who would say that he was the greatest. So he wrote Ghost about a self-insert.
Who everyone won't stop calling the
everyone
greatest.
Fucking loves, and everybody calls him the best.
And he cries a lot,
number
just like
one
Liam.
Rider. Except I usually do it when I'm alone. This guy is more public.
Cries in public.
Yeah.
That's like a con on like a D&D character sheet, like, you know, under character, like character flaw. Cries in public.
Zero qualms about crying in his friend's arms. Like,
could you imagine Kamen Rider Ghost character sheet? It would just be like everything fucking maxed out, and then cons, cries in public, everyone loves him too much.
His dick is too big.
He's so loved. All the bad guys go mad with jealousy about how loved and beautiful he is.
It's like, under likes, it's this list of like 300 not likes, but like pros, it's this list of 300 things, and under cons it says, cannot eat dinner.
Oh no. Cannot enjoy takoyaki.
Oh no. Yeah, early build
build.
Early build was very much like a honeymoon period for the show. Had cool suits, had good action, and I would say up until the fight with fucking Soichi as when he uses the soda pop form for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the height of the show. That's like the best part. I would call that like the cutoff for when it
starts to drag after that. It gets a little repetitive.
I wouldn't say it's bad.
I wouldn't say that. I would say after after Kazumi's first friend dies, after Alba dies.
Oh yeah, Alba is like the peak of the show.
Shit changes
true,
after
21.
that. The main character changes after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a while.
Much like Fies, it's a first half, second half thing, just not nearly as extreme. The slide down isn't nearly as sudden and awful as Fies.
And unlike Fies, it actually has an ending.
It has an ending.
Whether you like it or not, it
doesn't
has
just
an
stop
ending.
in the middle of the story, yeah.
And I don't hate Build's ending. I just feel like it could have been a lot more.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done more with the whole universe resetting thing, and then they just use it as a cop-out to be like, well, it's all happily ever after because we say it is.
You could introduce it much earlier and derive a lot more drama out of it than they did.
Why couldn't they just use the power of friendship and kick him to death? They almost did it 3 times.
Just believe in themselves really hard.
I also didn't like the final battle. I felt like it was kind of half-assed.
Really?
Yeah.
I think other than the awful CGI, I thought it was fine. I thought it wasn't really stand out.
I gotta agree with Liam on this one. It was pretty. Yeah. It was all right. Like it wasn't the best fight in the series, but it was a good one. They didn't need to do
some kind of crazy, like Dragon Ball Z fight or anything. It was
no Gaim final battle. It was no Gaim, but it was good.
It doesn't make much sense that they didn't do a Dragon Ball Z final battle though, because like the enemy has the power to obliterate planets. Like
that's my problem is scale. Like this dude is a planet destroyer.
Yeah, but they're inside a space vagina.
So it's a bottomless space vagina.
Tomas, they are both men, so they were horribly emasculated in the space vagina, and thus had no access to their full power scope.
Is that what came up on Build's like HUD? It said like danger, horribly emasculated.
Yeah, danger, penis envy. Like, I don't know. Like,
the difference is Build is more feminine, so he didn't lose it as bad.
Yeah,
whereas Soichi got it real bad. That's
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I liked when they were out of suit and just like he threw a fist and
I love that.
Oh, are they just gonna like duke it out of suit?
I would have loved that, but
then they didn't.
The bit when he punches Soichi and Soichi just grabs his fist and is like twisting his wrist. That was such a great shot. It looked
I was
so
like,
good.
please keep this up. Just like
what?
So raw.
It was like making stretching noises.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really digging in there. It was especially weird when they just started tongue kissing, too. But I guess it was artful.
I was having flashbacks to another Kamen Rider show that had a similar encounter for its final battle.
In the snow?
In the snow.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would have been a really great ending. Like, a desert version of that scene.
Just like a nice subdued fight, yeah.
Instead, they just had a regular fight.
I feel like they went halfway. Like, they could have gone subdued, or they could have gone totally bombastic. And I don't... Like, again, I don't hate any of it. I just feel like it could have been more. That's just me with the final episode of Build. I felt like there could have been more.
You and your generation,
but
Tomas,
there wasn't.
Just more.
God
You're
dang
older
millennials.
than me by like 2 years.
Okay. Anywho, what were you...
It's a different generation. It's 2 years of a different generation.
Yeah, I guess
that's all it takes.
With your thought.
Overall, like with the second half of Build, it feels like there were some points during the show where we were wondering, like, you know, what's up with this filler? They're going through Hokuto and doing like the same thing that they were doing in Sato.
Yeah,
what
they
with
did repeat some things.
The bros, they did the bros, and they did
censor that out, Liam.
Watch your
Mind
language,
your language, son. Yeah.
Pardon, heck bros.
There was the part when they had to, like, the whole first half was filling panels with bottles, and then it was like, oh, now there's a black panel that we got to fill with black bottles, and now there's a white panel that we got to fill with white bottles, and that was a little cheesy.
Yeah, we got to purify the bottles. There was the second tournament.
That was exactly the same as the first tournament.
That was exactly the same as the first tournament.
Wait a second, I hate this show.
It has 2 tournament arcs. And amongst all of that, which feels like filler, like they didn't have any ideas, in the second half of the show, like near the very end, they start plugging in all these like neat ideas. They start bringing in Shinobu Katsuragi, and they start bringing up the multiple universes bullshit, which I don't really like in any piece of fiction, but they could have done more with it.
Except sliders.
Except sliders.
Sole exception, yeah.
And so what confuses me is they have all this stuff that feels like filler, and then they rush through a bunch of interesting material at the end of the show. And they could have just taken all that stuff that they were retreading in the second half of the show, not done it, sped up, whatever they were doing with that part, and then stretched out what was more interesting. Have Shinobu come in earlier. Bring up the multiple universes in like episode 40 or something, or like 35 even, and work it in earlier. Maybe don't have Mad Rogue, because Utsumi's piece of shit.
Doctor. I'm ready to script doctor this bitch.
Alright.
You guys ready for this shit?
Spin it.
Lay it on me, Kamen Rider script doctor.
Like, near the beginning of the series, you're gonna want to start mentioning multiple universe theories. Like, maybe Evolt, when we start learning about him, like, partway into the series, maybe he's from an alternate reality.
There you go.
Like, he doesn't belong in our reality, right? You just put that little seed in there. You never bring back Shinobu Katsuragi
like
ever.
dead.
He never comes back. He's fucking dead. He killed himself.
He just has all the clues scattered around Japan.
He killed himself, and he killed himself because he was working with Evolt because he had no choice. And our hero has to grapple with those circumstances. We get a reconciliation towards the end of the series between Sento and Katsuragi. We get their personalities. They finally sync up, and that's what causes the genius bottle to work. And the more he accepts who he really is, the more he understands, the stronger the genius bottle becomes. That would be
really interesting if like the two consciousnesses became one. Like just.
Yeah, and maybe they struggle a little bit before then. Like, who has control?
I was honestly expecting something like that, and I forgot that I was expecting it because so much time had passed. Like, I wanted the two of them to be like, a little bit of, Katsuragi Takumi and a little bit of Sento.
Yeah, it would be interesting for the actor to switch to that kind of personality.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Heck Bros, one guy.
Yep.
You don't need fucking two of them.
Yeah.
Heck Bros, one guy. He has the Baikaiser abilities, but they've upgraded him, so he's real fucking strong.
And he's got two guns.
He has
Die Kaiser.
He's real strong, and he has a personality.
Whoa, hold up there, hold up. We can't have a personality.
No, he is like the Nanba child, right? And he's like, I want to make Chairman Nanba proud because I love him, and he's my best friend. And they use him to show how fucked up what Nanba did was, because he's in his heart of hearts a good guy who's fighting for the right side.
Or what he thinks is the right side.
Because Nanba raised him, right? Like all he understands are the moralities that Nanba instilled in him. Like, I don't know, profit over everything and like kill who I don't like, whatever. So he's one guy. You can do two guys if you want, but really fucking focus on their brotherhood. Like, they only had each other growing up.
That seems like good writing there, Jeff.
Thank you. Also, more boobies.
Now we're talking.
What would you do with Utsumi?
Utsumi, I feel like him turning traitor against President Nanba's ideals or whatever wasn't a bad move, exactly. I would have had him become a Kamen Rider before then and have a better suit.
Yeah, not just pieces.
I guess the suit was okay, but like... Yeah, I would not call it Mad Rogue. He would be something else. And he would be like 100% on Nanba's side or whatever. And he would have told Nanba that Evolt was gonna turn traitor against him, and Nanba has some convoluted way to stop him that does not work. And Evolt's like, now you have no choice but to bow before me or I'll kill you. And Utsumi has to do it. and he like breaks the stick or whatever. But then throughout the show, you get all of these hints dropped that he's like so remorseful for what's happened. And all he wants is a way to escape, but he doesn't believe the heroes have a chance. It's not just an ass pull in the second to last episode that he was actually not a villain the whole time.
Yeah, that was an ass pull.
Chairman Nambo would die much earlier as well.
Good.
I would also not have the same thing happen twice over and over and over again.
Yeah, that was a bit of a sticking point around the midpoint of the show, or like the...
I'm the new Carrie Fisher, baby. I'm your script doctor. Bring me in and I'll fix everything.
I think that they should have more corpses.
I can agree with that.
Corpses?
Everyone dissolves into sprinkles. Get rid of the sprinkles.
Yeah, there should be actual dead bodies in the show for children.
Bloody corpses.
Really, I think Sento should be louder, angrier, and have access to a time machine.
Happier and with your mouth open.
And have the pit just be the Cheers bar.
Yes.
And then everyone
also,
yells more when they walk
more titties.
Toei, bring us in for the next show.
We get to see the scenes where Sawa does illicit sex shit to get information.
Oh, damn.
Wait, what would you do with Sawa?
Like, I would not have the same thing happen twice. I think that covers Sawa.
She'd become a corpse in my story.
I would say, yeah. With Sawa, all you can do is have her, like, oh, I've been betraying you this whole time, but now I see the value of friendship. Don't do that a second time. And then have her, I don't know, gather info or do something or kill her.
If you're going to have her betray them a second time, have there be a genuine reason for it and have her be horrifically remorseful for her actions.
Yeah, rather than just kind of retreading the same plot.
Yeah, like, don't do it if there's any opportunity
Put
to
some
not
blood
do
on her
it.
hands.
But if it absolutely has to happen, be like, alright, well, they figured out where a child lives that she's been mentoring, and they're gonna, like, cut the child's head off on screen in front of everybody.
I think the show that we're brewing here is not entirely child-friendly.
No, this sounds more like Kamen Rider Amazon
It's
Season
Japan
3.
child-friendly.
Yeah.
Kamen Rider builds.
Little Hiroshi loves decapitation.
Yeah, remember the murder bus and Jetman?
Yeah, holy shit.
Everybody loves a murder. There should have been a murder bus in Build.
Are you gonna put that on, like, the front cover of, like, the CD release of this episode?
There should have been a murder bus in this episode. Jeff Pennington, Rider Club Radio. I feel like if you followed the steps that I was serious about, good luck picking which ones I was.
That's the minefield.
You would make a much better series. Not that I'm a great writer man or anything. Like, if I can make the faults in the series fixed, then anybody at Toei could have.
But in reality, more boobies.
Yeah, then it brings up the question, like, what kept them from improving these things?
I don't think the show is written ahead of time. I think it's, like, maybe 3 or 4 episodes ahead of, like, the scripts come out, like, 3 or 4 episodes ahead of time.
Ran out of steam, and they're just like, I don't know, fucking space alien, and then 2 worlds smashed together.
Like, I don't know, she fucking, she betrays them again, and then there's another tournament. Like, I don't fucking know.
A copy.
What really chapped my ass with Build is that it started out like so interesting and so, like, intriguing, and led up, like, what is this guy gonna do? What is Soichi up to now? What's this big plan he's working on? You have minor character development of Sento and Banjo and other characters here and there. Not as much with, like, Grease until later. You kind of know that Grease is going to become a good guy. It's just a matter of time, just, like, fighting for the right side instead of the side he's fighting for. Mm-hmm. But as time goes on, there's mild erosion of, like, all of the things that was making Build good. The characters start developing less. You start questioning what it is that Soichi's planning and if he really has any sort of fucking plan at all. and everything that made Build good just starts to turn soggy like cereal and milk. Like, you should have eaten the cereal a little bit earlier, now it's kind of not so good.
Yeah. Well, his plan is... He's had a plan the whole time. Soichi had a very definite plan. It was to build a tower and then not destroy the world, and then collect more bottles, and then use those bottles to also not destroy the world. And then to make a trigger weapon, even though he already gave one to Sento earlier in the series, and then put it in his belt, and then make the tower into Game of Death, and then he'll eat the plan.
There sure are a lot of steps to this plan.
It's way beyond human comprehension, is what it is.
Like, he had the phase 1 of the plan is complete, phase 2, and then he was like, in the span of like 3 episodes, like phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, it's like, wow, you're really accelerating this fucking plan
He's
here.
really good at planning.
Maybe you're just not good at planning, Tomas. You ever think of that?
Well, I'm just wondering why the fuck phase 1 was so long.
He brings up a good point, everybody. Phase 1 did take quite a while.
It was a slow plan.
Well, no, it wasn't necessarily a slow plan. It's like, maybe phase 1 should have been like a couple more phases.
Really, when you think about phase 1 took 10 years.
Yeah.
That's a bad plan.
Well,
It's not broken up correctly.
Using the...
Like, the plan was not broken up correctly time-wise.
You know what else wasn't broken up correctly time-wise? Kamen Rider Build.
It suffers from a similar problem that a lot of Kamen Rider series suffer from. Maybe all of them is poor pacing, where the middle of the series is very drawn out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And almost nothing happens during it.
The only Rider series in recent memory that I can say has a really good middle is Drive, with where they're like, let's pull out the plot where he tries to find out what happens to his or who fucking killed his dad. That was a genius play for the middle of the show.
That shouldn't have been the middle of the show, though. That should have been the end of the show.
Yeah, well, Drive has its other problems, but it had a great middle.
Yes, it had a good middle.
I would say that Drive has a good middle because of that arc, and then everything around it is kind of what you're describing. Not great, but not, terrible. It's just kind of in the middle. I would say that recent memory, as far as like middle of the show goes, Gaim really came into its own in the middle of the show. Like, the beginning was good, but the middle of the show was honestly my favorite.
Yeah, it's true.
When everything
really
started
up.
just revealing itself, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show kind of... I know I'm drawing a lot of comparisons between this show and Gaim as well, but like, it's a similar kind of thing where as you go on, there's more like revelations, like big revelations about the villains and their origins, and kind of Gaim has the same thing, but it's kind of cool how it deepens the plot like that. I just wish it had done what I totally agree with Tomas, where it kind of retreads old ground in the middle, and that really hurts it.
Sure.
Yeah, everything after... I'm trying to remember the name of the form that's before Rabbit and Tank. It's the best. Hazard.
Oh, Hazard.
Hazard, which is just so good. It really changes the pace and the framing for Sento. It's like, oh yeah, happy, plucky, go lucky scientist man turns into walking death tank that can't control himself. Is a little stark, blood stark, and
it's a little stock.
It's a little.
It's really, really interesting that dichotomy between like, oh, here's the main character, and then here he is turning into someone that just goes completely berserk and kills his friends.
Who's fucking
but
radical.
He has to use that power in order to survive.
Am I the only one that heard Mike say he's fucking radical?
Oh no, I heard it. It was great.
He goes berserk and kills all his friends. Yeah, fucking rad.
Max just lays
part.
awake at night and wishes that he could kill all his friends because it'd be really cool.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I get a suit and I'm just like, ooh, this is going to be really cool.
If Max ever becomes a Kamen Rider, I'm going to be as far away as humanly possible from it.
Oh no, it's just like a regular suit. Like, he goes to a Men's Warehouse and gets fitted for a suit and then just goes buys a gun.
Now you're dead,
It's
yeah.
time.
Oh man, he's standing there in the men's warehouse, and he's like, "This would look great with blood all over it."
So anyway,
Anyway.
yeah, ignore me being a horrible murderer.
Build's beginning sets up stronger characters, I feel, than Gaim's beginning, though, since we're comparing it directly to other series. I think the beginning of Gaim, a lot of the characters are a little flimsy, and they get a lot stronger as they go along. I feel like the characterization was very strong from the very first episode of Build, and it gets a little murky at points.
Yeah.
I think one of Build's strengths is that it starts with all the shit already in motion. It's one of those shows that starts and he's already a rider and he's already out there doing things and he's already out there facing challenges
I absolutely
and
love
stuff.
that.
That is good. I like that.
Whereas Gaim, I don't know why we're still I'm talking about Gaim, but like it starts with him like discovering this world, which means it takes it a little longer to come into its own.
Drive does the same thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
I'm not really a
lot of rider
big
shows
fan
do that.
of like, oh, what's this belt? How do I work this? And then like the
Kamen
floating cute character has to be like, oh, first you gotta put the doodaddy in the thing, and then put the switch, and
Bupachiko touched attention.
yeah, I really like when it's just like already going, it hits the ground running kind of first episode.
Actually, I made that comparison, but Wizard also starts that way, where he's already a Kamen Rider, so never mind.
And then they just touch
Wizard
on...
also disappoints me straight up because the fight scenes are so good.
Oh, yeah.
The series itself is boring as sin, which Build doesn't have, even if it at its most repetitive points, and even at the ending of the series where none of us are particular fans of it, we were still entertained the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's never a point where Build is boring as sin. It's just, there's a point where it becomes predictable.
Yeah, kind of tropey.
There's nothing predictable about them pulling parallel dimensions out of their ass in the past 5 episodes, though.
Fuck, no, there's not. They did pull the rug out from under you, but they pulled the rug out from under you and then revealed that the floor is painted a hideous color that you hate seeing all the time. And you're like, oh, fuck, it's this fucking color again.
You and your frickin' metaphors, Tomas.
Yeah, they're a little
Sorry.
They're a little out there. It's like when you try to get an ice cream cone and it's really ketchup in a cone.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
It's like pulling the parallel dimension things. I guess this is just talking about the beginning and end of Build a bunch, but like I can't stress enough how much I hate that they just pulled parallel dimensions out of their ass. Like, when it happened on screen, I stopped the video, rewinded it to the beginning of the scene, and started again because I could not fucking believe that happened. I was very frustrated. I tried to keep it low-key in the episode where we were talking about it, but I probably didn't succeed, because I was like, I felt betrayed.
Well, I know we're kind of bouncing around here, but like back to the beginning about like the character of Sento. Like I kind of felt like near the end of the series he wasn't really a character in a way. Like in the beginning he was like a cocky superhero kind of guy, and he actually displayed enjoying to like helping people. And I really liked that about him. Near the end, he was just kind of like, "Oh yeah, let's just smash planets together. It'll be cool, man. Whatever."
Yeah, he becomes a vehicle for the script.
He doesn't show a whole lot of personality towards the end of the show. Like, we see him go through hell and back, right?
Right.
And he shows a ton of personality traits during that. Like, he goes from being very cocky and like sure of himself
and then
in his
he murders
place.
Somebody.
He literally takes a man's life.
Brings him down pretty low, yeah.
He has to rebuild his confidence from that and understand like that what he did doesn't define him. And then we see him going through like the absolute agony of not being able to do anything against Evolt and his plans.
And then he has to get like 20 pep talks from everybody.
Yeah. He loses his confidence every episode and then gains it again.
Just basically rolls with the punches.
Yeah, then he's kind of just bland man for a while. He's like very stoic, bland man.
It's like his character arc ends, and then they're like, fuck, there's still 30 episodes left in this show. Uh-oh.
You know what I really liked about Banjo? Is he started out the show, and he was a rider before he could transform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that,
pretty
actually.
much out of suit fighting.
I liked his bottle punching. I thought that was cool choreography.
He was Taki Kazuya from the original Kamen Rider. He was just a regular guy out there beating up mooks.
All he had to do was shake a little rattle in his hand and shake his little battle rattle, as Max calls him.
I think it was Liam.
Oh, did you?
No, it wasn't me.
It was me again, Tomas.
Okay.
Just
working our way
I'm
down
sorry.
the list.
It's a battle
Pretty soon, everything attributed to Jeff is just going to be attributed to someone else.
I have Banjo's battle rattle sitting on my desk at work.
I've got Rabbit Tank, thanks to Mr. Liam Jervis.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I have Hawk Gatling, which Max purchased for me.
We're all good pals.
But anyway, he uses the dragon bottle and just shakes it and punches people, and it's like that's different. It's not just immediately making the secondary.
It felt like, and can anybody guess who I'm gonna say?
No.
It felt like Kagami from Kamen Rider Kabuto.
Not quite a rider right away.
Yeah, not quite a rider right away, but he's still trying to fight the monsters. And when he becomes a rider, it feels intensely satisfying. Like it was a journey for him to get there.
He deserves it.
Yeah. Like I always compare that to, and I may have done it on the show before, the difference between Robins and Batman is like Dick Grayson just kind of hops out of the fucking shadows and he's like, hey, I'm Robin now. I get to fight with Batman. And Tim Drake goes through 2 years of comics where he's being intensely trained and going through hell before he even puts a costume on. So you feel like an immediate connection with this guy. Because he's just a guy through most of it. He's not wearing a costume. And that's like a really excellent use of a character in Rider. I wish it was done more often.
Which one's the dead one?
Jason Todd. And he's not dead.
Oh, yeah.
They brought him back.
He's Red Man from.
He's Red Man along with Method Man.
He's Red Man, and he hangs out with Method Man a lot.
Oh, there it is. Where were we again? I don't remember.
We were talking about Banjo's journey to being a rider from not being a rider.
Oh, right.
His
how great it was.
determination to actually help
He
makes you immediately like him, even if his reasons for helping are selfish to begin with.
he just wants to clear his name super bad.
Which you understand as an audience member. Like, if you were being hunted by the law, what the fuck would you be focusing on, you know? I also miss his disguises. Those were always actually
those
nice
weird-ass things.
Grandma outfit.
The clown.
He was a clown for
everybody immediately
those were
recognized him
fun
and knew who he was.
Oh, the fucking clown!
And then he ended up getting like the coolest base suit in the show, basically,
which they didn't keep for long enough.
They really did not keep it long. Yeah,
I love that suit.
It's such a good suit that eventually they just gave it back to him with slightly different colors.
Yeah, and he only used that like twice too.
Yep.
Damn shame.
It is a damn shame.
It's the best sweater vest that you could ever buy.
Although Magma's cool, I really
Magma's
did
really
not
cool.
like
Energy.
the see-through one. Yeah.
Really? Cross Charge is probably my
Cross
favorite
Charge.
suit that he wore.
I didn't like that one. I like his base suit the best.
Yeah.
What is your favorite suit in this series? Let's diverge for a second.
Oh.
Let's have our dessert before we eat our meats.
Hazard.
Yeah, Black Hazard. I'm gonna have to agree.
I'd stick with Banjo's first form, the crosser. Or cross.
Crosses.
Crosses.
Sounds like we're being attacked by bees. I love Black Hazard. I think that's an amazing suit. That's probably the winner. I really grew to love Genius form. I know I'm
Really?
the only one who probably feels this way, but I really grew to
No,
love
I
it.
also like Genius.
I love all white suits. They hardly ever happen.
Yeah, not often
There's
enough.
something super clean and immaculate about just a cool, like... If he had, like, a lot more black highlights on it, it would have been a lot cooler. But just, like, the stark white with all the little colors all over it, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Should have
Well,
made
we're
him
talking
more
about-
genius-like, though.
How
You know,
so,
like-
Max?
Like with a big brain.
Yeah, he just has like a big brain in a jar on top of the suit.
Hey, I could actually go for that. That would be pretty fun.
Well, you know how like when was it Type Trideron where when Krim takes over the suit and he kind of
yeah.
fights all kind of like analytical and robotic.
Yeah.
The
kinda?
suit acting totally changes, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would have been really neat to see in Genius form where he's like super analytical and he just kind of sees the enemy's attacks before they happen because he's just kind of downloading everything that they're
That's
doing.
true.
It would have been neat.
For being called Genius form, it doesn't have anything to do with intelligence at all.
No,
You
He
fight
just-
better.
No. And he hardly ever uses its ability to, like, use all of the bottles. He just uses it to rewrite the
Yeah.
script.
he's got
It's
the
true.
the emu power.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if, like, the bottles that were attached to him rattled like every other bottle, and when he just ran around, it was like...
Everyone can hear him coming from a mile away.
He's running and it's like, is someone firing a machine gun?
Who let that baby in here? There's a baby somewhere!
While we're talking about suits, while we're on suits, I will defend Rabbit Tank Sparkling to the death. I will die
I
on
know
this hill.
everybody but me doesn't like it.
I like
Everybody
it.
but me likes
It's
it.
a good.
It's a good suit.
I think it grew.
I like
grew
it.
on me
I don't hate
very
it.
little, so I don't hate it. I like it okay.
That's not enough. You're still being put to death. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I will die on that hill. That's fine.
It's probably my least favorite, like, build
I would
upgrade.
like
Yeah.
to see him put the hazard trigger on that thing.
The fuck
Oh,
would that look
dude.
like?
I don't know.
How would you do that? You have a giant Pepsi can shoved in your belt. Like,
Well,
where would you? You'd have to like
It's-
pull your stomach in real tight
He
and
puts-
shove the hazard trigger behind.
he puts the hazard trigger in the with the Genius bottle. Remember?
Yeah, he does use it once with
Oh,
the Genius
yeah.
bottle. Yeah,
Okay,
you can fit it in there.
That was kind of like glossed over.
it's like Goku using the Kaioken when he's Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No one ever mentions it again. Liam got real excited.
Sorry,
on that.
it's the parallel is so perfect. It got me really excited. Also, Dragon Ball gets me really excited. So
I guess I should plug the guest appearance that finally came out. Like a year ago, I did a guest thing on a podcast called Beware and Warning.
I saw that. I saw that being tweeted out.
It's like a choose your own adventure podcast.
Oh,
and
yeah.
somehow I ended up doing a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog one.
Yeah.
And it finally came out, but half the episode is just me forcing Dragon Ball Z into the conversation. I think I have a problem.
You've done me proud, Jeff.
Were you
You've
a
done me
Sonic
proud.
OC?
No, the shittiest thing is in the game you don't even play as Sonic.
What?
Like, you know how when you play the fucking Pac-Man Adventures games on Super Nintendo that you're just like a disembodied guy that's trying to help Pac-Man through his day?
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
what it is. You're a disembodied
Oh.
guy trying to help Sonic through his day.
What? Weak.
Ah.
And it sucked.
you're not like
We didn't even finish it. Like, it went on so long, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna cut this shit off. We're done.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Go check it out!
Sounds like a laugh and a half.
It has been called very funny by one person that was not me. So take that to the bank.
That's some
All
good
right,
shit.
I think I trust
going
that
back-
person that you did not name.
Whomever they are. Yeah.
Going back
Going
to
back
build.
to build.
Bring us back.
I'm piecing my way through episode synopses on the wiki to just sort of refresh my memory
Oh, yeah.
of them. Can you believe that the revelation of Bloodstock's human identity was in episode 13?
Yeah.
Like, I forgot that it happened that
felt
early.
like it was so long.
It takes a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it really feels like it does, but Octopus Light and, like, the whole thing with, I'm forgetting the fucking name. I'm terrible with names.
Joe?
Whatever. No.
Frank?
Stalk. Whatever his name is.
Evolt.
Soichi.
Evolt. Soichi. Thank you. Soichi. The whole thing with Soichi happens in, like, episode 13 and 14. Quick question for everyone. What's your favorite, like, couple minutes, like, scene, vignette in Build? Like, just like a fight scene, or a character interaction, or just one thing that sticks out in particular?
Oh, when Sento's about to fucking throw up when he's visiting where he fucking murdered somebody. I love that.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I think one of the reasons why I love Rabbit Tank Sparkling so much is because of that scene when he's fighting Soichi in the back alley, and they transform and all the sound cuts out and you just hear the rain as all their ridiculous cartoon shit goes around them.
That one was definitely the forefront of my mind. That would be the other one.
Yeah, for sure.
Am I a basic bitch for picking a scene from Build episode 21 where he kills a dude?
No, that is the apex of this series.
The best episode of the whole show.
Everything's fucking the craziest in the whole series. My favorite scene in the entire show is in the last episode, when Mitan looks up at the sky and she says, "He did it," and then it cuts to people screaming and running for their lives.
I really
that
like
was
to
my
think
absolute favorite.
I really like to think that they all died and were just replaced. Like, that's my headcanon. Is that
Our
everybody
hero
died in pain
murdered
and fear.
an entire world.
A whole world of Harry Kims.
He actually succeeded with Evolt's plan. He destroyed the entire Earth.
He traded
Our
Earth.
hero.
He traded Earth so that the rest of the universe wouldn't get eaten.
Did the other dimension just lose an Earth then?
I guess so.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I guess it's just empty now.
I didn't even fucking think about that.
There's so many wider implications with this fucking ending.
My favorite scene in Build, for real, is when Space Sheriff Gavon and Captain Marvelous bump their fists together before they fight Don Horror's nephew. That was probably my favorite.
My favorite scene in Build is the one where Walter White blows up the building.
My favorite scene in Build is the one where I put dog's blood in Jeff's drink when he's not looking, and then he drinks it, and he likes it.
What was that?
The subtitles on that episode were spot on.
My favorite scene in Build is when they flip the girl over and came in from the back. That was a pretty good one.
The camera work was phenomenal.
Really, like you could see all the way to that girl's U-view.
My favorite scene is when they had to steal the lemon tree back from Shelbyville.
Holy shit. Can I say for 1 second? I caught an episode of New Simpsons on cable TV the other day through a series of circumstances.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, I stopped watching Simpsons at like season 13 or so when I was like, wow, this show's not good anymore. It's not very funny. And it turns out I knew nothing. I was a mere child. And season 27 it's like anti-fun. It's like anti-humor. It's like a black hole.
Non-mini.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Really?
It's unbelievable.
Really fucking bad.
Like, people told me, but I had no idea. I had no concept of how bad it was until I saw it. It's tragic.
Who is even still watching it?
I don't know.
I imagine it's the same people that are like watching Family Guy still. Like, it's just on, so you turn it on.
Yeah, they just stuck to their guns this long, so fuck it.
I guess. It has its people who stick up for it still, who are like, it's just as good, you just changed.
I don't know.
You know, I'm glad I changed then.
Yeah, I changed for the better.
I don't think I want to be the person that watches season 27 of The Simpsons.
I'm gonna have to agree with Max. and that my favorite scene in Build is when he goes back to the scene of the guy he killed, his death place with the flowers, and like he goes through agony there.
Yeah, I'm not
like,
being.
It's terrible to like relish in someone's agony, but he's like a fictional character, and it's just a really well made scene.
I'm being unironic when I say that scene was powerful.
Yes. Yeah. It did not belong in a children's toy commercial, but here we are.
I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to say that I have a favorite action scene and a favorite emotional scene. My favorite emotional scene is the one that you guys have mentioned several times now, where he goes back to the scene of the murder, and is just, like, completely defeated.
Scene of the crime.
My favorite action scene is one of the first... I don't think it's the reveal of Hazard Trigger, but it's the second showing of Hazard Trigger, where Banjo like shoots out that light.
Oh yeah,
that's hanging above Hazard Trigger, and it's dark and it's swinging above him, and it's just sort of casting those shadows.
That's such a great
and
visual.
you see him lose his ability to control himself, and then
that is really cool.
My favorite thing about Hazard Trigger is that not only does he totally lose control of like his bodily function, and he just goes into complete destruction mode. He goes into complete destruction mode, and is just constantly cranking the fuck out of that belt and just firing off finishers here and there, and is just like overflowing. He's just like fucking punching them and kick him down to the ground, and then he turns around and then he punches and kicks someone else, and he just keeps going like a fucking machine. Like he doesn't stop and breathe. He just beats the shit out of everything.
It is cool.
The suit acting really, like the body language of the suit acting really like communicates a totally different mindset that the character.
It's like straight up like a murderer.
Yeah,
it's just a murderer,
like a robot murderer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a really good use of slow motion, like slowing down to really get in the impact of the punches and kicks. Like the special effects are used well with like all the energy coming off. Like it's just very impactful, and it's so different from everything else that you're seeing from like riders in the show, where they're being like very particular about combat, and they're doing, they have a back and forth. And with Hazard Trigger in those first few episodes, it's just like you're totally fucked. He's just gonna kick your ass, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, my favorite scene, besides the one I already said, is when Sento is having a conversation with Katsuragi for the first time, and it keeps, like, every time the camera angle changes, it switches between the two of them while they're talking.
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking masterful. Like, the cinematography in that scene is immaculate.
Yeah, they definitely had some good camera work in this show. And, stuff.
I really enjoyed the stuff.
The
like,
stuff was
sound design and like they really knew how to set a mood on those episodes that really counted.
Mm-hmm.
And the "Are you readies" and everything like that.
Oh god, the "Are you ready" after Sento's feeling totally destroyed and he has to go to the tournament, and he's standing there like he's totally not ready, and he just lets it hang.
Or even when Kazumi uses the fucking Blizzard Knuckle. He says, "Are you ready?"
Damn right I am.
Damn right I am.
Oh,
I love that.
I love talking back to the belt.
The scene where everybody's scream crying and it's like dead silent. That was amazing. Well, it's not actually dead silent. It's even better than that. There's like a hollow wind noise while they're all wailing.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. Like, that's something you would see in, like, a fucking AAA drama movie or something.
Yeah, they really pulled it out.
Or a XXX drama.
Oh,
depending on what kind of theater you're in.
Favorite kind.
How'd you get Vin Diesel in this?
Aha! You clever son of a bitch.
Xander Cage as Kamen Rider.
I'd go see it.
Not to sour like how effective some of those dramatic scenes are, but that was one of my other issues with Build, is it really knew how to do some of its dramatic scenes really well, and it had really good cinematography. It really got you into the scene. It was very cohesive when the script wanted it to be. The problem was, in the second half of the show, they tried to use a lot more humor. They used Gentoku's character as like comic relief in lots of different parts, and it had an issue that those who listen to Red Letter Media might know that Mike and Jay were discussing how with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, how they really liked the movie, but it was constantly at odds with what it wanted to be. It was dramatic and serious, and then would just cut in with a joke that wasn't really that funny and totally diffused whatever that scene or situation was. Because
that's like a Marvel movie thing in general.
Yeah.
That is a Marvel movie thing in general, and it is absolutely also a tokusatsu thing.
They just gotta throw in a quip because they no dead air. Just put some quips in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't let anything hang. You can't let anything have some impact. Every second has to be doing something. And the beginning of Build didn't really have those like interrupting quips. It knew when to just take it seriously. Mm-hmm. And the second half of Build didn't really know when to take it seriously.
My favorite scene is when Kamen Rider Build called the alien guy Squidward.
Oh boy.
Did that happen?
That was in Infinity War.
Iron Man called him Squidward, and all the kids in my theater went, I know who that is!
Oh, yeah.
Squidward, I'm so happy. Memes, please.
You know what? I laughed. Fuck you.
Meme me, Captain. Meme me.
Memetize me, Captain.
Is that like a new cereal that's gonna happen now?
A meme cereal?
For sure.
Captain Memes.
For sure.
I'd eat it. Fuck it. Fuck all y'all.
Liam!
What would it taste like? What would
As
that
the
cereal
neighborhood
taste like?
contrarian, I will eat
I am
memes.
so disappointed in you as a human being.
I always knew Liam liked eating shit.
Oh.
I love you, Liam.
Well, yeah, he had to
Love you
sit through
too.
Kamen Rider Ghost.
I did write Kamen Rider Ghost, yeah.
Oh, and he wrote it.
Oh,
yes.
he wrote it. Yeah, I forgot. He did make up the concept of it. The concept was a lot better than what we got, though. I will say that in his defense, even though he does eat shit.
Even though I do eat shit, yeah. Are we done with our thoughts on Build?
Sure. I think that sums it up, at least from like a very roundabout way, it sums it up. We actually do have some emails.
I do
this
have
time.
one more thing to say about Kamen Rider Build.
Oh,
Okay.
go right ahead.
It was good.
Great.
God damn, Max, you're my hero.
I think I liked it the most out of all of us. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed the show.
Oh, really? You're speaking for all of us. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, it was my favorite show, but I guess alright.
I really enjoyed Build, and I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I'm just critical of it because I had high hopes for it. I'm like a parent that has like an A student and they got a B, and you're just like super hard on them because you know they can do better.
You were gonna give Kamen Rider Build a fucking complex. The official rankings for liking this series, by the way, is Liam likes it most, then Max, then me, then Tamaz. Those are the
Really?
official rankings.
How did you determine these official rankings?
Because I am the podcast king.
Why is Jeff leader?
It's Jeff Leader.
When we started the podcast, I gave him the crown. I know I shouldn't have, but he hasn't
You
taken
placed
it
this burden upon my brow,
Yep.
and there's none that shall usurp me.
off. He's got the scepter. I can't take that away from him.
Can I give a shout out to Misora's actress?
Yeah.
Because
She listens,
she's
so.
fucking great.
Probably, probably the strongest actor in the show is Misora's.
Oh, most certainly.
She
Really?
really knows
Yeah.
how to cry, I guess. That's something.
she
Yeah, she does the same exact crying in every scene.
Well, she's forced to do it so fucking often. My friend,
It's not just the crying. Go ahead, Liam.
my friend who is an actor, told me once, and I never realized this. He's like, we were watching some show, and he was like, it's hard to cry, like on stage or in front of a bunch of cameras, because like you're standing there, and like the director's there, and like the crew's there, and like, you know, Rod the cameraman is there, like eating his beef sandwich, like, do it, cry.
Beef sandwich.
Eating my BLT, cry in front of me so I can film this for later. And you gotta like, you still have to pull it out and cry. So
It's like
I have some.
It's like trying to pee in a public restroom.
I have some respect for any actor who can believably cry. That's a skill. It's a skill it takes.
I full gush in the bathroom all the time in public. So,
Well, what if it's
So
like the
you
trough?
also have the cries in public character flaw?
I've never pissed in a trough.
Oh god, I hate doing
horrible,
that. I
man.
hate those bathrooms. It's
Like if
gross.
there's a trough in the bathroom, then I'm just gonna go in the stall and piss.
Just
Like
pee in the
always.
street instead.
some of the
Yeah,
bathrooms
I go
at my
piss on the
university,
wall
all they
outside.
had was the trough, and I'm just like, I can't believe I have to piss in this fucking
I'm
trough.
gonna
I
pee in the
always
street
use the
with
stall.
dignity.
Even if it's a urinal, with blockers next to it, I still always use the stall. I prefer the privacy. I can't do it out there.
You worried about people seeing your pee?
Well, the thing is-
You don't want people seeing your weird urine.
I want people seeing my micro penis. So.
First I bust into the bathroom and I say, "So is this where all the dicks hang out?"
That breaks the ice and makes everybody feel more comfortable.
Right.
Makes everyone dicks
then
trick
you
up
can
so
start making eye
yours looks
contact and
bigger.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I always throw my arms around the guys next to me while I'm pissing.
Hey, you need a hand with that?
Bathroom etiquette.
Yeah, follow all these rules and you'll
What
be the
not
most
to do.
popular guy in the public restroom.
Well, maybe in the more homosexual ones.
Mm.
Maybe.
So
We did get some emails this time if you guys want to read some.
Do it.
I do want to express it's not just Misora's actresses crying. I just feel like she's able to have a lot of range. Like, sure, there's the idol shit, which I'm pretty sure any Japanese actress just kind of has to put that on because it's so prevalent.
It's the trend,
in
yeah.
Japanese media.
She's a good actress.
Have an idol.
I wouldn't call her like groundbreaking or anything, but I would say that she's definitely good for tokusatsu for like
She's
a
good
female
for
secondary
tokusatsu.
character.
she's no greatest ass in Japan though.
No.
Well, with
Whatever
some squats,
her
you
name
might get
is.
there.
Even like comparing her to titular greatest ass in Japan. Haha.
I know her ass's name. I don't know her name.
As an actress in Agito, she's not like anything special.
No, not really.
No, she pisses me off.
That's what I'm saying.
sometimes.
Like, Misora's actress is better than the regular crop of
Mhm.
secondary character
She's a
actors
cut
in
above.
Kamen Rider.
At least she
Yeah.
doesn't
Or
yell
even-
at the screen.
Or compare her to
True.
like Peachy Energy in Gaim. She's a much better actress than that older woman that, just sort of shows up to do a job and then leaves, or hang off of whoever it is it appears to be in charge.
That older woman.
The venom coming off of that.
I expressed it because I wanted to drive a
Disgusted.
stake into her heart that some younger actress is so much better than her. Because we all know how it feels when it's someone younger than you and your
God.
profession is better than you.
Tamaz is like playing the long game with this actress, Peachy Energy's actress. He's like nagging her through our podcast.
I think she's cute.
She is.
She's cute, but she's
There we go.
She's
There's the other
serviceable.
half of the nagging. Right
Yeah.
But she's cute, but
To the emails,
Yeah.
unless anyone else wants to
Yeah,
interrupt.
go for
On
it.
to
Go
the
for it.
mailbag.
Can everybody guess who our first email is
The
from?
Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake. In honor of Kamen Rider Build, I'm going to read his whole email.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
let's do it.
Jake writes, "Hey RCR, a reset ending. It feels kind of like blank.
Oh.
Though we have two writers who remember everything instead of blank.
Blank
Oh.
Man? Good movie.
Blank man.
No, it's not. Fuck you. While it had many high points, and I think it's a great series overall, I can't say Build didn't have some issues. Cough. We didn't need the dad plot. Cough.
Yep.
Jake is a wise man.
Yeah, he
very
needs to really
curious
check
to
on that cough, though.
He was getting a full exam done at the time. He had to turn his head
okay.
and cough.
Gotcha.
Very curious to see how you guys review the series looking back after some time. If you guys still do Spoilercast, I would definitely love to see one for Build. You're in for a treat, buddy.
Yeah, spoilers. We just did
Hey,
a
guess what?
Spoilercast.
We just did one just for you.
Yeah, it was just for Jake. No, everybody else turn it off. You're not allowed to listen to it.
Yeah, fuck all y'all.
If you listen to this and you were not Jake the Snake, you owe us $5. Please PayPal writerclubradio@gmail.com.
PayPal that to Liam Jervis, please, and I'll make sure it gets to where it needs to go.
Yeah, straight to the local bar. Some thoughts on the final batch of episodes of Build. As usual, please feel free to skip over them if they've already been covered or they're too long. Jake always writes that, and it's always so polite to me.
That is really nice of him.
Man, I wish Grease got Blizzard for him sooner. He deserved much better than the treatment that he got, but at least he went out fighting, and he's one of the few people who actually calls Banjo by Ryuga.
Mm-hmm.
The way
Gives
he
him
ends
the
up
respect.
dying feels a lot like how his character did back in Blank. I guess everybody could figure that out, but transforming with something dangerous that guarantees his death. It's also a knuckle, Jake, so... Although that's not what. Anyway, I kind of hope they have him show up in Geo since they got him back for Build already. It shouldn't be hard to sign him on for more stuff, right?
Yeah, why not?
Just keep
Oh,
doing
man.
like decade. Just keep bringing him
Would
back.
they be able to have him back for both characters?
I mean, shit, all the, for
shit,
both
yeah.
characters?
That would be crazy. That would be like a
In the
Kamen
same
Rider
episode?
Black situation.
Yeah.
Is there no way to save him? What the hell? Banjo asking the right questions. While technically we know the answer is yes, the story will still not allow it to happen. That was a good moment when he's like so frustrated. He mentions the audio cutting out with just the wind while everybody reacts, and of course Evolt cutting in with yo like a complete bastard sets up the next episode pretty well.
Yep.
Loved it.
With his big swinging dick hanging out. Yep.
Of course. He just like waltzes in like he owns the fucking place. 'Cause
And just
he
slaps it on the
does.
table.
Slaps it on the table. I appreciate that they gave Gentoku some cool moments in the last episodes. Between 3-on-1, huh? Just the handicap you'll need. Helmet
love that line.
damage. And his shadow as he fades out still being rogue even though he wasn't transformed anymore. All great parts.
The true hero of the show. Sort of.
Max, you liked Gentoku a lot, didn't you?
I mean, I liked him in the beginning when he was he literally twirled his mustache at being the leader of a country. I thought that was cool. I was hoping that, he was going to be kind of a crazy person, but I guess he did end up being a crazy person, but
Just
I don't know.
in a different way, really.
Yeah, but I don't know how I really feel about redeemed riders. They're, hit or miss.
They're also a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
These days, yeah.
true.
Like, every rider is a redeemed rider.
That's true.
The callback to the web mini episodes with the shark and bike full bottles was pretty neat, too. Shark
That's
bike
what that
Oh,
was.
had a
it was
pretty
a-
sick finisher.
Gotcha.
So Jake would have had us covered.
Yep.
Utsumi's betrayal comes as no surprise. What I wasn't expecting was him being able to replicate Evol's phase power-ups and being an actual cyborg. Sawa's line sums it up best, I feel. That was for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turning a joke into a real thing is probably not the best idea, but...
Probably not. I don't see why he couldn't have just not been a cyborg and just died normally.
Yeah. Guess they'd have to show blood or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted to try and make his character interesting in a last-ditch effort.
He's a cyborg! And then the episode ends.
Anyway, he's dead.
Yeah.
Okay, I know having the other riders just lying down on the floor doing nothing while one of them fights and gives a speech is a thing in this series, but it was the worst, in my opinion, during episode 48, with Rogue getting the crap beat out of him while Sento and Banjo do nothing. Quaternary riders have to go through the worst shit.
You have to.
Also,
you
they
have to
both
watch...
stand up a second later after he dies, so...
It's
Like,
not
oh,
until...
he's dead. Oh, we should
Yeah,
go
it's
help
not until
now.
you see your friend get
okay
their
now.
ass kicked that you find the strength. Before then, you can't move. That's how it works.
You know, for all the times Build likes to bring back minor characters, I'm surprised they didn't have them show up during the scene where the people of Japan are cheering on the Kamen Riders to win. If anything, I feel like that's the kind of scene where they'd be used best.
Oh yeah, like kind of like Goku. Goku charging the spirit bomb. Everyone kind of shows up.
I forgot about that scene because it makes so little fucking sense. They think the Kamen Riders are murderous criminals that cause wars.
Oh, right.
Why are they cheering for? Like, literally, the lady on the news says the outlaw Kamen Riders who have caused nothing but trouble for us.
Which they were convinced pretty easily.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the news channel is still functioning.
You know what would have been cool? Is if little specters of Kazumi and Gentoku showed up in the audience cheering on the Kamen Riders.
And Yoda?
I was just gonna fucking say. You play the little yub yub or whatever it's called. Yub nub.
They all start singing Yub Nub in the audience.
I get behind that. I love yub nub.
Banjo's willing to sacrifice himself since he has Evolt's DNA. It can't be stated enough how truly far his character has come from the selfish prison escapee in the early episodes. He's my favorite character of this show without any doubt. Quick, guys. Who's your favorite character in the show?
Sento.
Banjo.
Kazumi.
Banjo.
Damn.
So that's that. Have a good night,
actually,
everybody.
Probably... Wait!
What?
Probably Soichi, actually, or Evolt.
You know what? Yeah, I changed my mind, Soichi.
I'm sticking with Banjo. I don't really know why, but there's something really cool looking about the base rabbit tank using the full buster.
Yeah.
Going through the forms is always nice to see, and I like that we went with a reverse progression. Would it have killed them to have Black Hazard in there, though?
He's too scared to use Black Hazard.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought about that in the moment, and that's a good excuse. Like, if he had been in Black Hazard, he probably... Actually, who cares if he kills anyone? He just has to kill... Like, just use Black Hazard.
Yeah.
Rabbit Tank looks better than all of his other forms. Really. Like...
All of them except Black Hazard.
Except Black Hazard, and I have a soft spot for Genius, but I think Rabbit Tank and Black Hazard are the two best-looking forms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So...
By the end of the series, I always missed base forms.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Well, they put so much more effort into making the base form,
Mm-hmm.
and it just goes the fuck away by episode 20. I didn't expect that we'd have Rabbit Dragon used in the series. Banjo doing Sento's catchphrase along with him was cool, and I guess it's only fitting that the final boss is finished with a mathematics rider kick. Wow, so the skywall being broken by all that math in the opening sequence happens after all this time. That was a drive moment.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was funny.
Oh, yeah.
That
There's a
visual.
Purple Spikes moment. But he does have some questions. Question number 1. Will Tamaz be getting the CSM Kuga belt?
Oh, fuck. I would if I could sell my soul for some fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, I need another income, and then yes.
I like that our listeners know our favorite series, like to the point where they just specifically ask Tamaz.
Well, I mean, who else are you gonna ask if they're gonna get the Kuga? Fuck, I want that thing.
If I had the money, I'd get it, but I absolutely don't. So
I saw a YouTube video showing off like a different. It's the complete special Kuga belt instead of the complete special modification or complete selection. And even just like the complete selection one, the video that I found on YouTube from like 2014 or whatever it was, there's some cool shit on that belt.
Really?
Yeah.
is it cheap?
Like, I don't even think you could maybe find it on eBay somewhere. I don't know what the CSM version has differently. But it has all the different forms and the sound effects for all the forms. It doesn't have any of the add-ons from later shows because Kuga didn't have any of that. It just has lots of little bells and whistles and buttons and shit that you can hit to. There is like a housing that you pop onto the front, which was on the original like DX Arkle belt.
Oh, so you make it the rising.
Yeah, so you make it the gold belt to do the rising stuff. And then there's... I really like the transformation noises that they use because they're mostly atmospheric. Because Kuga doesn't really go really heavy on the sound effects. It was kind of even hard to discern like the sound effects for the different transformation, like the different forms, like the Titan form probably has the most distinguishable one, but the rest of them are pretty hard to notice unless you're really listening for them. But it has actual like mechanical stuff on the inside of the belt for like the spinning.
So it's like $400.
Yeah, it's probably like $400.
That's cool as fuck, though.
It
is cool as fuck.
He asked us what our favorite character in Build is, but we already answered that.
Yeah.
But he does ask, were there any characters that you didn't like at first, but grew on you as you went along?
Oh, I can say I didn't like Gentoku post Good Guy, but then they sort of evened him out.
It's true.
Yeah.
I went through pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
There's nobody that I started out not liking and ended up liking. Everybody that I didn't like, I started out not liking. Like, I didn't like Utsumi.
Yeah.
Did the Heck Bros not grow on you guys?
Shut up.
But when they did the same thing for the 8th time, I was like, I get these guys now.
Yeah.
Nabeshima.
Once Nabeshima.
Nabeshima was really my favorite character. He was the one who got the most attention and the most depth. And he changed the most throughout the series.
He had subtle.
Yeah,
subtle
when they had to
layers.
refer to him off screen.
Not gonna lie, Max, when you said that, I was like, they took me like 2 seconds to be like, right, Nabeshima.
Oh yeah, that character exists. I forgot.
The guy from so long ago.
When it comes to belt and or weapon announcer voices, what do you prefer? Grounded sounding, like the Fies gear, terrifying, like the Gamer Driver or Brake Gunner, or like a hype man, like the Build Driver, or fierce, like the Splash Driver?
I like. Honestly, I love the Fies driver's voice, and I love the Blade. What the fuck is the belt called in Blade?
Oh shit!
I think they just call it the
Rouser.
Rider system or something.
Blaze.
The what?
It's called the something Rouser.
The Rouser.
The
I like stuff
Rouser?
that's like really.
Or maybe that's the thing that has their fucking cards in it.
Maybe, I don't know. But I like voices that are really subdued and robotic. Like it
I do
sounds
too.
like a machine voice. I get a big kick out of that. So
I love Turn Up.
Turn Up. Yeah.
Turn Up.
I've only seen the first, or I saw 2 episodes of Amazons, but when I don't know the character's name, but like the alpha guy, when
Jin?
when it was like really silent and it just goes alpha. I
Oh
liked
yeah,
that. That was pretty
Jin,
cool.
yeah, it was great.
It's just kind of like a regular, yeah, kind of like the Fies belt, kind of like that.
I definitely like the more grounded voices. The hype voices are good for like hype scenes, but we all know what those scenes are where there's like something dramatic going on and then you just have some dude like, Kiwi!
Yeah. Really my favorite voice from any Rider series has got to be like, and it's only because of the countdown that it does, is the Forza driver.
No.
When it does the countdown and it does like the twisting zooms on people's faces every time it says a number. It works so perfectly for me.
It makes me think of the F-Zero X like announcer when he does the countdown.
It is kind of similar, actually.
Yeah.
But I think really I love the more like robotic voices as well. There's something just cool about that to me.
But
Like stuff like Kabuto and stuff like that, where the voices are so like subdued and nice and quiet. I love that.
I always thought it would be really cool to do like a robotic female voice, since like all of our computer technology that uses voices uses a female voice.
Yeah, it's true.
Mhm.
I always thought that would be really cool for a Rider belt.
But if I had to
Not
pick
Siri.
one belt to say my favorite noises, it would be the driver.
Oh yeah, he is
The
your
bombastic
best
voice.
friend as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
For reference, in Blade, it is known as the Blay Buckle, B-L-A-Y,
Blay
Yeah.
Buckle. Thank you.
and they are known as Rouse cards.
That's
yeah,
it.
but the thing that they're in is called a rouser. It's called something rouser.
A rabble rouser.
Pretty sure that's not it.
Rouse Absorber.
Rouse Absorber. Yeah, I'm watching Blade, but nobody ever says what that shit's called.
Oh wait, no,
so.
it was to be a supplementary rouse device to Rider system. So this is different.
It's called a something rouser. I remember that.
This rabbit hole goes real deep.
The promo.
It does.
Jake the Snake continues. The promo image for Banjo's V Cinema looks really cool. The base cross suit is an amazing design, and I wish it got more screen time before they bumped him up to charge. Thank you, and looking forward to the next episode as always, Jake the Snake.
Thank you for your years of
Thank
service.
Yes. Number
Thank you,
one
Jake.
super fan, Jake the Snake. Our next email is from Tom, or Thomas, or maybe Tommy, who says, "Hey guys,
Samantha.
So Build was so ambitious in its scope early on. Usually these shows are set in some city, but Build aspired to be a series with a much larger setting. I feel like this actually revealed the limitations of Kamen Rider as it currently exists. Though Build was meant to be set in Toto with excursions into other nations, it instead still felt like it was just in some city with a forest outside it like usual. They were almost always right next to the skywall, no matter where they went. Also, Hokuto just seemed to be one farming village, while Toto just seemed to be the one city where our heroes lived.
Yeah, the world was really small.
Stuff like this just made the three nations seem so incredibly small.
Oh.
I guess this might be why shows like this usually stay in one city, or try to avoid going at things with a geopolitical angle. What are y'all's take on this? Thanks, and keep up the good work."
I think I just interrupted and said my take.
I believe my take is the limitations of shooting locations and budgetary restrictions.
Yep.
It's really expensive to have to shoot in lots of different locations. You have to do a lot of location scouting. You have to make sure that, all the paperwork is filed properly. If you're not just using sets, you gotta make sure that everyone's on board. You gotta make sure you don't fucking break anything, because this is a Sentai show, so there's combat you gotta worry about sometimes. So that's why they're constantly reusing all the same combat sets, because they can just break shit over and over again, and then come back, put it back, break it again. So, I get it.
You can't use the quarry every time.
No.
I
How many times did they go under the bridge?
A lot.
I feel like there wasn't much bridge. There wasn't much bridge in Build.
They didn't. I don't know if they went to the stadium.
I don't think they went to the stadium once.
I don't
this
think
season.
they did.
Yeah.
Not to my recollection.
I applaud them for trying to create like a bigger scope.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tokusatsu is the place to do that, though.
No.
The budget's just not high enough. I will give them that when you're in Hokuto, you feel like you're in a different place. Like,
Yeah.
as much as the three nations are homogenous within themselves, they at least feel distinct from each other, which I can laud, except for Sato, which is just another city. But at least Hokuto and Toto feel different from each other. So I did enjoy that, but yeah, the three nations is something that could have been used better. If I was the man on this show, I would have moved him around a little more between the three, had him travel a bit.
I would have found 3 specific base locations for each
safe
city.
houses.
For like each part of the country, I would have like, of course, Hokuto's like the farm place. Toto can be the city. Then you need to find like something different for Sato. Like make it like
Sea Lab.
the bay.
Oh, okay.
Sea Lab is good too.
Or like the mountains.
Yeah. Just give it its own identity, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
The strip club.
That's a different location, all right.
That would get the titties in the show that I'm looking for. Is that everybody's answer to that email?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
We have 3 emails, so this is the finale.
Okay.
Oh.
It is from Ferris Maelstrom, and I have not read this email, so it might be very insulting.
Uh-oh.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Hey, so it's done. While the universe fusing thing still seems like an ass pull, I do feel like this was a satisfactory ending. Sento and Banjo are probably my favorite main/secondary pair, and seeing them progress from barely cooperating to firm friends was a neat character development.
Yes, firm friends.
Very firm.
Firm somewhere, yeah.
Very hard.
While the others are not getting to remember is a bit anticlimactic, they do at least get to live normal lives. I'm cautiously optimistic about Geo. Questions. What characters from previous series would you like to see return in Geo? You can decide whether to include the characters who you'd like but whose actors can't or won't return.
I'd like to see another Ryuki, which I'm sure we're going to get at some point.
I'd love to see Shinosuke, but he's doing other shit, so probably not.
I would like to see... I mean, I don't know if they can bring him back, but considering, how they ended Double, I'd like to see Shotaro and Philip.
Mm-hmm.
I bet Shotaro they'll get back. That's no problem, but Philip is the tricky one.
Yeah.
Well,
he's
Philip's
too busy
kind of
doing
been
chocolate
turning
commercials.
He's kind of been turning around. He's been turning over a new leaf. Like, he was on the cover of a magazine recently with him, and like they did. I think we talked about this before, like the manga, and like they were appearing in public as their characters, or not in public, but like in press releases and things like that. And so he hasn't completely abandoned the character anymore at this point. He's kind of returned to, identifying as, yes, I played this character before, so...
That's good.
Maybe not for, like, more than an arc or something, but it would be neat.
I would like to see another Agito. I would like to see another Agito, and I would love Shoichi's actor to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be neat to see how he's doing.
I love
another
that
Agito. I always thought you were thinking of.
That's what I think that's the question on everybody's mind with Geo coming up is how many of these people are they going to get back? Mm-hmm. Who can they get back? How many are they going to get back? That's a big burning question on my mind, at least.
I think they're going to get Tachibana's actor back, because he comes back for everything. He was a completely different character in Forza, even.
Wait, Tachibana...
From Blade?
From Blade, yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like
the
Tachibana
actor who
Tobe.
played
I was like,
Tachibana Tobe is dead.
Wait, yeah, like you can't.
Just wheel
They'll
out
get
his
his
corpse.
skeleton back. Same joke.
Weekend
Garrett,
at Bernie's.
yes.
Do you think they could weekend at Bernie's anyone in the show?
Jesus.
Just like how they couldn't bring back what's his name? Crispin Glover in Back to the Future, and so they had another actor play him.
Crispin Glover.
Yeah,
Crispin Freeman.
Just say
I think
Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One, so everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just do the CGI thing.
His dad.
I want another black.
I wonder if they're gonna go into Showa.
Probably not. If we're going like straight Heisei, like I think another Forze would be fun to see what like an evil Forze would be like.
Oh yeah.
I'll fucking kill you one
I think
on one.
I'm gonna make you my greatest enemy.
Like, I wonder if they just, like, it seems like every 2 episodes is going to be a show. I think it's like 2-parter about Build, 2-parter about X8, 2-parter about whatever. I wonder if it's going to be like, okay, for the 2-parter about X8, say, we can get back Snipe. So it'll be another Snipe will be the monster. And then for the 2-parter about Gaim, we can get back America. So it'll be another America. That'll be the one. So I wonder if that's the structure they're going to do. Who knows?
It seems like they're trying to get main riders.
I imagine that's what they would be.
Because I mean, like all of his forms are main riders. All of both of their forms are main riders. That's true. Yeah. So
I just remembered Peach's Peachy Energy's name. It's Mariko.
Is Mariko? I thought it was Mariko.
It's Marika.
Marika?
Okay.
Yeah. I remember because it was
because it was like romanized as Malika.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ugh.
Malika. Yeah.
Gotta love those Romans.
They fuck everything up when they're translated Japanese.
Another Kiva who's even more dark and monstrous.
That'd be fucking. That works well.
What
with his aesthetic.
What if they do like another, and then it's a villain, and then they're actually a good guy for the episode?
That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind that. That'd be good for one.
Another Gem.
Yeah.
Get him.
And he'd be like a heroic. That'd be a fun
another
one.
Leangle, and he's actually an enjoyable character.
Have you got to Leangle yet? Liam?
Yes, I've gotten to Lee Angle, yeah.
Lee Angle sucks. His
I
suit
don't
is
like
actually
him.
pretty cool, but he himself sucks.
I think Mutsuki's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And I don't like his pants.
What, you don't fucking love Jinko jeans?
The hugest pants.
It was the style of the time.
Yo, you put on some Jinko jeans, you be pulling ass left and right before you turn into a spider monster.
Jesus.
Man, you're able to take Fago wherever the fuck you go.
It's like they have another Delta, and instead of ruining the show, it makes the show a lot better when he appears. That's what I'm hoping they'll go for.
And then they give the show an ending.
He does
after
not
Yeah.
want to go home.
Does not want to. He wants to be right here doing what he's doing.
That's his only personality trait. He does not want to go home.
Like, I could be at home right now, but I'm just having so much fun.
Ferris asked us if we could change one plot thing about Build. What would it be? We got into that a little bit, but I want the distinction. One thing.
Oh God!
If you could only change a one thing. Mine is parallel universes.
I would say utilize the 3 countries more. Like, go there more.
I don't even know what classifies as like one thing because I want to.
I just changed the whole ending of the show through a technicality, so go hog wild.
One thing means
right,
10 words or less.
I would stretch the end of the show back more. I would make the end of the show more of the show.
Yeah,
That's
like
fair.
start those plot points earlier. Yeah.
Yes.
I would say make Sento better.
Well, you get the gold star for shortest sentence.
Do you want to expand upon that? Like, what would you change about
You
it?
know I like expanding.
I know you love expanding dong.
So, yeah, like I was mentioning before, like just I wanted him to have like a character throughout the entire show, but he just kind of like drops off halfway through. Like, you know, make him a fun guy to watch. That's basically it.
There you have
I
it,
want
Ferris.
to like the main character, not be like,
Liam liked him
there
through
he
the whole
is,
show.
there he is needing another pep talk by his best boy.
That got old.
There he is,
That got
poisoned
very
in the
old.
back of a van. Oh, what does he need? Oh, he needs a pep talk right now. Stat. Give him 500
cc's of pep
Give
talk.
him some pep.
There you have it, Ferris. There are our answers. If you would do those 4 things, the show would be perfect in every way. And that's all of our emails for this evening. I think we should close this one out by taking a second, even though we're 2.5 hours into this bitch, to talk about our hopes for Geo.
Okay.
Don't be bad.
Yeah, don't be bad.
Have the main character. I'm scared is going to be boring. He seems like he might be really boring.
He strikes
Yes.
me as being boring as fuck.
I'm scared.
I did not see
I
anything
wouldn't say-
yet.
I wouldn't say I'm scared that the main character is boring. I'm pretty much positive the main character is going to be boring, and it's going to be a vehicle for jumping through all the different worlds like Decade did. It hasn't shown anything to the contrary to sort of change that perception. So I'll say I hope that Geo is its own show.
Yeah.
I hope it has a story.
Yeah.
I know Don Piantis sent us a little tweeter not
Oh, yeah?
too long ago asking like, "Oh, what is your feelings towards, or what is your what are you expecting from it?" And I said, I pretty much said I just hope it's not like Decade where he just takes a shit on all the other riders, and instead it's like Gokaiger where they kind of like honor all the
They celebrate.
yeah
the
they
history,
celebrate and just kind of like oh I kind of like this character, maybe I should go back and watch this.
At the very least, I feel like there isn't going to be any, like, trashing the old writers just because it doesn't seem like the character is built for that. But it does seem like it's going to be kind of, like, plain toast. Like, it's not going to be interesting. It's just going to be like, yep, it's toast. It's pretty boring. It does its job.
I like toast.
Maybe you'll like this series.
Maybe if you like toast, have you tried Kamen Rider Geo?
It's a small leap from one to the other, really.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
French toast.
Oh god, French toast
Love some French toast.
is dope. I love French toast. I'm scared. Not of French toast though. I'm
Scared of Geo.
I'm scared of Geo. Like before a Rider series starts, I always get real scared about what it's like. What if it's shit? And like you have to understand it from our point of view, being on Rider Club Radio. If a show is shit, we still have to fucking watch it and talk
we're stuck
about
with
it.
it.
Our episodes are going to be a lot shorter, I bet.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Or a lot longer, we'll see. We may have a lot more to say.
There's going to be a lot of whys.
The only reason we were able to get these episodes up to like 2 hours, 50 minutes, 3 hours is because we had a lot to say or a lot of emails.
Yeah. I'm scared. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think any of us want another ghost.
yeah, the worst
God,
experience I've ever had was having to watch Ghost, but I gotta say, one of the more fun experiences I had, for a while anyway, was shitting on Ghost publicly.
It was a blast. It was a blast.
So, I guess I'm not that scared.
Like, we could talk for one episode about one episode of Ghost for like 40 minutes. Because there was so much wrong with every episode.
Well, what if there's
Maybe
nothing to shit on? Like, it's just gray
That's
and
like
boring.
Wizard.
That's the fear.
That's what I'm really afraid of. I mean, we might just, like, tag team it. Like, where two of us at a time do an episode, and we just, like, tag in and out. And we're like,
And then
I don't know what the
occasionally
fuck...
we can take a break.
Yeah, like, I don't know what the fuck happened in the last episode, because I wasn't on the show then. So,
It's a system in progress.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Might change the format of the show depending on how well Geo does.
Yeah.
Geo is as boring as Max just set it up to be. It will change the format of the show in that it won't exist anymore.
At least not until the next Rider show, maybe.
Yeah, we will take an extended hiatus for 1 year
Yeah.
until the next
We'll
show.
We'll become a Hey Arnold podcast.
Hey, I'd be into that.
Yeah, there we go.
I'd get on board for that.
Fuck it. Why not?
Welcome to Hey Arnold Club Rider Radio.
What would Hey Arnold's rider transformation be?
I don't know. You'd have to have a very specifically shaped helmet for that
He'd
guy.
be a football-themed Rider.
Oh my god, he's the sports rider!
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, he likes baseball, not football.
He's got a football head, though.
That's just a coincidence.
It's a
You don't
character
understand
flaw.
the character of Arnold at all.
That's insulting. You're being football headist.
I know. Sorry to everybody out there with football heads.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who is listening to the podcast right now. We appreciate it.
Yes.
We do.
If you would like to follow us on Twitter, where you can see when we post this, and maybe we post between them as well sometimes, you can find us at Rider Club Radio.
Indeed.
And if you'd like to send us an email, you can send us an email at riderclubradio@gmail.com.
And we are on the iTunes. Give us
Yes.
them stars.
Yes.
Tell us,
Stars and bars.
Yeah.
Tell the world if we're good. Tell the world if we suck.
No, don't do that.
Go fuck yourself if you do that. But
If we suck, keep it to yourself.
we used to
And
have
thank
Just like
you.
real life.
we used to have a blog, but I don't think we do now. But we
No,
do.
I
Have, like,
got rid of the blog,
yeah, we do have like a libsyn, but that doesn't matter. You'll see the
That doesn't-
fucking link
no
when
one-
we post it. So
You're not going to get on there.
Who
yeah.
owns that Tumblr now?
I don't know.
The Tumblr is off in the void.
I don't know. I'd like to thank my co-hosts for softening the blow of discussing Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
I'll always soften your blow, baby.
Thank you,
Wait
Jeff.
until the mics are off. And thanks again to everybody, and we will see you in 1 month's time to talk about Kamen Rider Geo. Here's fucking hoping.
Yep.
Yeah, if it's
Cross
good,
your
we'll
We're
fingers.
see.
going to turn it into a drinking game if we have to.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, I'm gonna black out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a
Love
good night.
y'all.
See ya.
このまま歩き続けてる今夜もまっすぐ一人の足跡たどって果てしないだけ be the one alright 明日の地球を投げ出せないから be the light be the light alright 強くなれるよ愛を負けない何かを助け救って抱きしめ心に触れて届くよ伝われ be the one be the light メッセージ送るよ響くよOh, be the one, be the one, be the light, be the light 何より大事な出来事生きてる今夜を必ず前に進めなきゃいけない昨日より強さと優しさ大人になってるみんな感じてる There you will be the one to be the one We will 必ず夜明けを願ってくるから Be the light be the light We will 未来へつなごうかっこいいだろう今を生きようそして忘れない奇跡と偶然太陽の月 Be the one be the light メッセージ届くよ刻むよYou will be the one You will be the one Yeah Be the one Be the one Be the one We will make all your sight You'll be the one Be the light Be the light We'll take darkness into brightness Yeah Leading you into the light Be the light Oh you'll be light Be the one Be the one You will be the one We'll make a right
心の始まりだ